sunny and hot, 90 degrees in Los Angeles, California. The historic Coliseum in Los Angeles, the scene. Two teams with great NFL winning traditions. The Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Raiders struggling here in 1992. They're both 0-2. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Bob Trumpy. It's also a game that features new quarterbacks, both teams. Bernie Kosar injured Monday night. We'll see Todd Philcox. Todd Marinovich, 23. The redhead goes for the Raiders.
Yeah, and you know, I think the change of quarterback from Schrader to Marinovich tells all of the Los Angeles Raiders, we don't care if you had your best game of your career last week. We count wins. And the message has to get through to this Los Angeles Raider football team that we are interested in being a factor once again. Forget the individual statistics. That's why Marinovich starts, Dick.
The Raiders have lost 6 straight games going back to last season and the playoffs, and will get the ball first. Stover's kick into the end zone and taken out by Grady. He risks that and goes down at the 9-yard line with a flag. Let's go back to last year's playoff as the Raiders come on the field. Todd Marinovich, what are you going to show us here?
Well, one of the things that Marinovich has had to learn in the offseason is to look off defensive backs. Ethan Horton, the primary receiver on the right. Watch Duron Cherry read the eyes of Todd Marinovich as he goes back. This is one of the 4 interceptions that the young quarterback threw. He never takes his eyes off of 88 Ethan Horton, and Duron Cherry right there to make the pick. Now, 4 days a week, Marinovich was with Mike White in the offseason, preparing himself to be the starter now. Hopefully, the Raiders hope he's learned a lot, and that's one of the big aspects that he has to fix in his schooling as a professional quarterback.
He's only 23, now the youngest starting quarterback in the NFL. He starts in the hole. There was also a illegal use of the hands penalty on the return of the kickoff, and it's the Raiders and Marinovich just inside the 5-yard line. Art Shell, the headmaster in his 4th year with the Raiders. Eric Dickerson, former great with the Rams in this city. He gets the call and picks up 3-4 yards into the grasp of middle linebacker Mike Johnson, number 59. The lineup for Los Angeles, and it does not include Max Montoya. He's injured, so Todd Pete, number 64, opens at right guard. Montoya on the injured list. Marinovich will have the blocker, Steve Smith. Eric Dickerson will also see Marcus Allen and Nick Bell. Willie Gold, Tim Brown, the speed outside. Brown now the starter over Fernandez. Ethan Horton is the tight end. You'll see Allen and Grady come in pass situations. 2nd down and 5. Dickerson again. Flags down, and Dickerson across the 10 to 11 yard line, far short of the first down. Yeah, the white jersey defense of the Browns. Burnett, Jones, Johnson, and Pleasant, a very young front 4. Brandon Johnson and Matthews, a tough core of linebackers. And the back 4 of Taylor and Wilburn. Barry Wilburn starts at the corner. The former Washington Redskin Eric Turner, a budding star in the NFL at the strong safety, a big hitter. Vince Newsom with him, leading tackler last year for the Browns. Hilliard and Moore come in as the extra backs in the dime. No flag on the play, so it'll be 3rd down and 3. Brown in motion. Marinovich, first pass of the game. And he has a completion on the first down to Willie Galt at the
20-yard line. We'll watch Willie Galt. One of the things that I think everyone criticized Willie Galt with his track background was he wouldn't catch the ball over the middle underneath coverage. Now you see Willie Galt on just a little 6-yard crossing pattern. Todd Marinovich told us yesterday he likes to throw the ball short. Let him run with it.
Marinovich with at number 12. You see Galt, 50 catches. Marinovich, the bootleg, wide open is Horton, the tight end at the 38-yard line.
That's one of the things the Raiders, I think, will explore with Marinovich. You'll see the role, the good influence by the offensive line, the fake to Eric Dickerson. You see 88 coming across behind the defense. Marinovich, good mobility, and he's 2 for 2.
He doesn't have a strong arm, but Horton and the rest of the receivers will tell you he throws a very catchable ball and is very accurate. And they say that the great Ken Stabler didn't throw as hard as this kid.
Yeah.
Stabler, a big fan of Marinovich. They both were number 12. Dickerson threw a hole to the 43-yard line on first down.
But Dick, let me tell you something about Todd Marinovich being the quarterback here. I think the Los Angeles Raiders, the one thing you know about them historically, they've tried to intimidate opponents. They can't intimidate an opponent with Todd Marinovich at quarterback. You intimidate opponents by running the football. If there is a problem with the Los Angeles Raiders, it's that they don't threaten defenses with Bo Jackson, with Marcus Allen when he was healthy, and a great running back, Mark Van Egan. Defenses don't set 8 guys at the line of scrimmage to stop the run anymore against the Raiders, Dick.
And yet the Raiders will run more than any team in the league. At least they have the last couple of years. There's a screen to Dickerson, caught by the heels by James Jones, the second-year defensive lineman from Northern Iowa.
Now, my impression at the early stages of this football game is that this little bit of the offense shown by the Raiders is to get Todd Marinovich's feet on the ground. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing special. A little roll he's very comfortable with to the left. The screen to Dickerson. They're being very, very cute here with Marinovich to start this football game.
3rd down and 7. The first time he has to make the call, probably a pass where he knows that defense is looking past and are going to come after it. Marcus Allen, 3rd down in the game. Good protection. Overshoots the mark and almost a Browns interception. Willie Gault was the intended target. Vince Newsom deep in the secondary, close to the ball for the Browns.
The first thing you got to do to compete in the NFL, you got to protect the quarterback. Raiders offensive line does a good job. You see 57, one of the linebackers, Clay Matthews, rushing the quarterback.
Marinovich started at his 5-yard line, got it out to the 42 as he chats with veteran Jay Schrader. Schrader, very Southern California-ish.
I like that picture, too. Schrader and Marinovich talking on the sideline.
Eric Metcalf, his daddy Terry, who played at Long Beach State. And Rams in trouble with a snap. The Browns pick it up and have it at the 30. Number 27, Stephon Moore, inside the 15-yard line. So Cleveland opens with a big break. Aaron Wallace saved a touchdown.
Dick, there was nothing wrong with that snap.
Dan Turk, a left-handed snapper. Psycho is nickname. Here's Jeff Gossett. Ball right in his mitts, and a former third baseman in the New York Mets organization muffs it. The Browns pick up the fumble. And that very well could have been an easy 6 points.
Wow.
Stopped inside the 15.
Gossett looked like a catcher there, and that ball bouncing off of his shin pads. I mean, Gossett is a very good athlete. That's a shocking picture to look at.
Todd Wilcox from Syracuse. Played only as a senior there. Was the backup to All-America Don McPherson. Hands it off to veteran James Brooks, and Brooks gets only a yard into the grasp of Anthony Bell.
Well, if you wanted a young man like Todd Wilcox to have a great start in his first start, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line of your opponent is a great start.
Tommy Vardell, the rookie from Stanford, the number 1 pick. And the veteran James Brooks in the backfield behind him. Brooks now sent out on a wing. Michael Jackson to the near side, number 1. Vardell, the only running back on 2nd down and 9. Gets Vardell up the middle. And the man they call touchdown Tommy at Stanford drives to the 10-yard line where it's 3rd and 5. Long, and Bruce made the tackle. The offensive line, Jones, Fike, the veteran Hilgenberg acquired from the Bears, King and Childress. That is the soft spot in this Cleveland team. They've had trouble protecting the quarterback. Kosar sacked 13 times in 2 games. Wilcox with Brooks, Vardell Jackson, and Sean Collins acquired from the Falcons. The wideouts, Mark Bavaro, the All-Pro from the Giants at tight end, and their 4 wide, Metcalf and Holohan, come in. 3rd down and 5. Wilcox, first pass. Caught inside the 5-yard line. Eddie Anderson makes the hit. And Pete Holohan, always tough on 3rd down, the receiver. And it's good enough for a first down, I believe.
I'm sure that Todd Wilcox and Bill Belichick are happy to get that first pass out of the way for Todd Wilcox. Just a simple out pattern to the tight end, Holohan. The best hands maybe in the NFL. throw it to a sure-handed guy, make sure we get a completion. Wilcox gets off to a great start here in his first start.
They spotted at the 4, moved the chains, 1st and goal, Cleveland. 8:25 left in the opening quarter. First possession for the Browns came off the fumble by the punter Gossett. Metcalf in motion. They throw to Metcalf. He's out of bounds. Oh, they say touchdown. Whoa, touchdown Cleveland. There was a hesitation by the official, and on the replay we'll see why, as Jeff Gossett's fumble, recovered by the Browns at the 14 of Los Angeles, leads to a quick score.
You know, Dick, I've always thought that there ought to be a way using our technology for the NFL to check on plays like this just to make sure. That's 1 foot down.
Oh, it's a good call.
It's an excellent call.
From our angle, it looked, you thought, and I thought that was out of bounds, and what a play by Metcalf, dragging that toe of the right foot, and it is 6 for Cleveland.
And maybe more importantly, Todd Wilcox 2 for 2, 1 for a touchdown.
Matt Stover with the upright and lost an extra point on Monday night against Miami that may have changed the course of the game against the Dolphins when it appeared Cleveland had a victory. Makes the extra point. 7-0 Cleveland.
July 1992. Oldsmobile goes further than any other car company to redefine quality. Further than the lab, further than the test track. The Oldsmobile Achieva went 100,000 miles against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry in a real-world test. Independent test results prove Achieva outperformed Accord and Camry in total cost, which includes maintenance, repair, and operating costs. Achieva, quality redefined. From the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Dean Witter believed every success story was unique.
We have a sacred trust to protect our investors,
Whether it's the success of a small business,
to maintain conservative policies,
saving for college,
to put the interest of our clients first.
or planning an early retirement. From getting in on the ground floor to getting all the way to the top, Dean Witter is there to help every client make it every step of the way. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
You want a beer. You want it cold. You want it smooth. Introducing Colders 29 and 29 Light. Brewed its own way. Cold aged at 29 degrees to seal in smoothness. When you chill with Colders, you get a cold, smooth taste. Beer after beer. Cold, smooth taste. New Colders 29 and 29 Light. What else do you need?
Eric Metcalf with a touchdown off the 4-yard pass from Todd Wilcox. It took the Browns 4 plays after the fumble recovery to go the 14 yards. Here's the score.
You see Metcalf going in motion. Watch Jones, the linebacker, get caught in the wash. He gets behind him, and all of a sudden, it's wide open for Eric Metcalf. Good pass protection by the Cleveland offensive line. Well thrown, and a beautiful catch to stay in bounds by Metcalf.
That was Balletti. The kickoff by Stover. Grady with Olympic speed, and he's cartwheeled down by number 52, Richard Brown. Oh, my.
Acquired from San Diego last year because of his special teams prowess.
That's a big leg hit.
This is not the way the Raiders wanted to start this football game.
Couple finals in. New Orleans on Morton Anderson's 47-yard field goal, beating Atlanta 10-7. Overtime, Houston wins on Del Greco's 39-yard field goal. Houston 23, Kansas City 20. Here, 7-0 Cleveland. 8 minutes left, first quarter. Marinovich, who started at the 5-yard line the first possession, now starts at the 15. To the sidelines. Incomplete. Intended for Willie Gold. You could see on that deep out, and there's the real test as Barry Wilburn covers, the real test of the strength of arm of quarterbacks. Marinovich isn't going to burn you with his high-powered arm. He's not a Schrader arm. He's got to be there quickly with it and perhaps anticipate the move, release the ball quicker on the cut.
Excellent point. And obviously, from the far side hash mark to the near sideline is the longest throw you're going to have in the NFL.
And 2nd and 10. Wide open to Steve Smith, the fullback, and he's across the 20 to the 23. That'll bring up 3rd and short. Clay Matthews and Wilburn make the stop.
Well, I'm not sure I'd credit Wilburn with the stop. He may have slowed Smith down, but he kind of got the best of Mr. 47 here. Wilburn is replacing Randy Hilliard. Watch Smith. Boom. That's, well, all right. We'll give him some credit. Yeah. But he doesn't want to do it again today, Dick.
Now the phone is still ringing. Third down. 2.5. Marinovich again in trouble. The fumble. And the Browns have recovered at the 8-yard line. The blindside tackle. And Marshall sees the turnover. David Brandon, who had a touchdown on a fumble Monday night against Miami, recovers.
Dick, the Raiders have fumbled the ball 6 times in 1992, lost all 6. Browns come with an all-out blitz. Brandon from the backside. Marinovich does not take care of the football. The recovery appears to be Rob Burnett, number 90. Again, the Browns. Excellent, outstanding, wonderful field position. Big sack by Brandon.
So Brandon forces the fumble, and Burnett recovers inside the 10-yard line. It'll be at the 9. Well, that was a prophetic graphic that we used just a couple of plays before, showing the fumble problems, the turnover problems of the Raiders. And meanwhile, under Bill Belichick, who was the brain trust behind that New York Giant defense, last year Cleveland led the AFC with a +15 in the turnover takeover department. They had 2 already in the first quarter. Metcalf making his way to about the 6-yard line. Plenty of black jerseys. Aaron Wallace from Texas A&M, one of those.
You know, Dick, I can't hold off on this comment anymore. There was the accusation in Cleveland that Marinovich starts this game because the Raiders were not taking the Cleveland Browns very seriously. It may have added some inspiration to the Cleveland Browns because all of the hitting we've seen to this point in the football game has come in that orange helmet.
There was a report out of Los Angeles that the Raiders had penned in this game to start Marinovich at home against a weaker, or maybe the weakest opponent, and that was read by the Cleveland players. Metcalf has another touchdown. And you hear a lot of noise for Cleveland here. There's somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 Cleveland fans. There's a big booster group in Southern California, and they've had reason to be heard. 13-0.
You know, when this play first started, Dick, it did not appear it was going to work. You see the people outside, and then an excellent block by Leroy Horde, 44 on, or Tommy Bardell on his like number. David Waymer really captures the corner for Eric Metcalf.
So 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. Bad snap, but Stover sends it through. And with 6 minutes, 13 seconds left in the opening period in L.A., the Raiders are down by 14.
13 seconds.
One of these engines was filled with Castro's Syntec, a new synthetic oil. The rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec's unique molecular structure bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oils. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
Oldsmobile redefines quality. Here's proof. Call 1-800-THE-TEST to get independent test results from a 100,000-mile real-world test of the new Oldsmobile Achieva against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. Learn how Achieva outperformed Accord and Camry in total cost, which includes maintenance, repair, and operating costs. You'll even get a free video documenting the test. Achieva, quality redefined, from the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
You know you can get cash just across the street. But did you know you can get cash all across the country? Using the same card you use at the cash machines at home. That is, when your card has a plus. Because Plus marks the spot for cash when you travel. At cash machines in big cities and small towns. In all 50 states and beyond. So check your card and name your street.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. By Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. And by Castrol Syntex, the new synthetic oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. Nearly 100 degrees down on the floor of this historic arena. The Cleveland Browns kicking off again with a 14-0 lead. A stunning start in Los Angeles. 2 turnovers, 6 plays for Cleveland, 23 yards, 14 points. Here's 7 of them.
Watch what happens. Mark Bavaro, a nice hook block here, and the effect it has on Eddie Anderson eventually. You already saw the block by Tommy Bardell, 44. Watch the corner captured along with the block by Mark Bavaro. See what he does to the Eddie Anderson, the free safety? He in effect blocks 2 guys. Anthony Bell, 59, and Eddie Anderson, 33. 1, 2, 3, 6. He's in for another score.
There's the veteran Bavaro. Gale Gardner will have an interesting halftime feature with Bavaro. You don't corral him easily. He's not a talker. Let's see. Gale Gardner, if anyone, will get him to share some of his thoughts as he was released by the New York Giants.
The strong, silent type.
It's tough to get him to say hello in the morning. A couple of Super Bowl rings, and Bill Belichick, who admired Bavaro, who wouldn't, his play in New York, acquiring him for this season as Marinovich, some of his play help on his wrist. And 6. Dickerson again. Well, how about Eric Dickerson? They say here's a man who's never had a knee injury, never been operated upon. Dickerson now is in his 10th season. He's had he stayed in Los Angeles with the Rams, many felt this man would have surpassed Walter Payton's yardage mark. He's about to be the number 2 and pass Tony Dorsett, but doesn't seem to have the pop, does he?
No. One of the things that was always, I thought, characteristic of Eric Dickerson is he used to sit very deep in the offense, sometimes 8 yards. And the acceleration at the snap of the ball to the line of scrimmage was extraordinary. He doesn't seem to have that instant acceleration like he used to.
3rd down 4. Marcus Allen. Many here in Los Angeles feel that Allen should be playing more. He was instrumental in the comeback at Cincinnati that forced the overtime last Sunday. Marinovich to the sidelines, complete. That should be good enough for the... No, they say Grady did not maintain possession, and the Browns have held again.
Well, now the Raiders are in trouble. I mean, they got a new quarterback. They're not impressing the Cleveland Browns at all with their running game. They've played very poor field position, made the big mistakes to start the football game. Nothing good has happened to the Raiders yet.
A lot has happened that's good for Eric Metcalf, who drifts back to return the punt at his 30-yard line. He already has 2 touchdowns in the quarter and well documented his ability on kick returns. Has a couple of kickoffs for touchdowns in his 3 years with the Browns. Gossett handles this snap, sends his kick on the way to Metcalf at the 27. And the Raiders surround and finally drop him at the 28-yard line. A 47-yard kick, 2 yards on the return, 4:26 left in the opening quarter.
So I stopped at the car wash on my way to this big appointment. And you wouldn't believe it, but somehow my keys get locked inside my Cutlass Supreme. So I called the Oldsmobile Edge. They sent someone out, said they'd pick up the tab, and in no time I'm in my car and on my way. I didn't even miss my appointment. You know, there really is a difference in car companies today. Oldsmobile has the edge.
Investors are returning to traditional values. One investment firm never left them. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Food, clothing, shelter, beer. New Colders 29. Cold aged. Shelter! Colders! New Colders 29 and 29 Light. What else do you need?
Just win, baby. The commitment to excellence, the theme of Al Davis since he took over this franchise as the coach back in the 60s. He was only 33 years old at the time. One of the dominant men in football, a Hall of Famer now. Long overdue. Finally went into the Canton Shrine this year. Cannot be happy about that 14-0 deficit as the Browns now take over. 28-yard line. Brooks and Vardell behind Philcox. Philcox maybe changing his play and gives to Brooks, the veteran acquired from Cincinnati by way of the Plan B program, out to the 29, short yardage.
One of the big keys to this Raider defense is this guy right here, Greg Townsend. Every part of the defense that the Raiders have is set for him to make sacks and make plays. Watch him crash down inside. Bardell tries to get him. They also pull Ed King 68. They can't make a solid lick on Townsend. He's there to kind of mess up the play a little bit.
Townsend, who reported at 290 pounds as he held out, says he's lost about 13 pounds. The top sacker for the Raiders last year with 13. Second and 9. Fake to Hoard, the throw for Michael Jackson, and no flag at the 45 of the Raiders. Terry McDaniel on the coverage.
That was excellent coverage too. One of the problems young quarterbacks have, Dick, is not being able to look at secondary and third receivers. And Philcox goes back, his man-on-man coverage, outside and inside, and he's locked on to Jackson. Now, accompanying this play is also an outlet receiver out here in the flat. What he should do is say he's covered, throw to the outlet. That's part of the inexperience of a Todd Philcox.
Well, prior to this game, Philcox has only 4 completions in 10 attempts in the NFL. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's got himself a touchdown here in the first quarter. 3rd and 9, and apparently a flag and whistles had sounded no play as Anthony Smith, 94, there to rip Philcox's jersey off. This young player is going to be a
ball start. Number 66 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Bernie Kukar, the referee today. Tony Jones ticketed with a 5.
This is the down and yardage now that Belichick told us last night he doesn't like for Todd Philcox. 3rd and long. We don't want to put this young kid in this many spots, or this spot many times.
Out of the shotgun. Triple right in the handoff. Leroy Hoare. And nothing but Raiders around the ball at the 21-yard line. Another loss. So the defense of the Raiders perhaps inspiring this crowd and maybe the offense.
The one guy that Belichick worried about was Howie Long. He does penetrate here, and you see everybody blocking down. This is like a college sweep, student body right, and he's in there to mess everything up. Throw Hoard for a loss.
Tim Brown back at the 35 of the Raiders as Brian Hansen punts it for Cleveland. Wobbler, Brown at the 43. Kept it and slips down at the Cleveland 46. So Marinovich will have good field position this time on a 10-yard return of a 36-yard punt.
At Oldsmobile, we know the difference between designing a race car to be fast and designing a race car to be a winner. The new Achieva SCX has an engine that just doesn't know when to quit. Anti-lock brakes that help make cornering a breeze. And the difference between this winner and the winner you can buy is a wash. The Achieva SCX from Oldsmobile. The power of intelligent engineering.
Susie Hamilton, U.S. middle distance runner.
What was good enough yesterday just isn't good enough today. you can't hang on to old victories. That's what performance is all about. That's why I like this stuff so much. It's not the old way of doing things. Shampoo and conditioner in one, Pert Plus. It gives me the results I'm after. Soft, manageable hair with not a lot of fuss. Who needs the old way of getting there?
Pert Plus. Great hair, no fuss.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Regular, sensitive, metal.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Now at Little Caesars, Cheeser Cheeser. Two pizzas with extra cheese, up to 3 toppings, and free crazy bread for $8.98.
Cheeser, cheeser.
One step into this paradise will be your last. Kathy Ireland, Danger Island, NBC Tonight.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. Like his son Todd, Marv Marinovich played at Southern California, played in the NFL with the Los Angeles Raiders. Conditioning coach conditioned the Raiders and his son, and perhaps from day one, Todd Marinovich, the design was NFL quarterback.
There was a story that until he got to college at USC, he had not tasted any fast food.
Did sneak out a time or two. Had a hamburger. Barry Dickerson to the 41-yard line. That's an interesting look there from the Raider offense, sending Dickerson in motion and taking the toss.
We saw that yesterday at practice. He just doesn't appear to have the acceleration. You see Dickerson, he'll start in motion to try to get a little bit of momentum, I guess, and the snap of the ball, but he just doesn't have the acceleration. I remember something John Robinson used to say about Eric Dickerson. Such a fluid athlete. When he ran, he made no noise, so he never appeared to run hard in front of John Robinson. Robinson knew he was wrong after about the first 3 games.
On second down. The pass a little short, but still makes the catch a tough catch when you're looking back at the quarterback and have to reach down, but it's enough for the first down. Brandon and Taylor, the tacklers.
So far, we've seen an awful lot of the underneath stuff from the Los Angeles Raiders. The one roll and long or reasonably long reception by Ethan Horton. Schrader doing what he can for the football team. He's taken this demotion beautifully. When told by Art Shell, he certainly sounded like the team player. Hey, we got to win.
The irony of it all, 380 yards was the most a Raider passer had ever accumulated on the road, and then he's benched.
Third read.
All time. The screen, and it should work with Dickerson. Plenty of blockers. 30. 25. He's to the
18. Set up very well. There's the primary receiver. Now watch the way the defensive linemen are released inside. Mosbar 72. 76 Wisniewski out in front. Excellent block by Mosbar on Clay Matthews, although Matthews keeps his feet. And again, age gets everybody, but 6 years ago, Eric Dickerson is a blur up that field.
David Brandon made the tackle at the 18. 14-0. Cleveland leads with a half-minute remaining in the opening quarter. Marinovich is caught from behind and dragged down by James Jones. A roll by Marinovich, and Jones has his first sack of the year as Wisniewski just could not fight off Jones on the block.
That time Marinovich rolled to the power. Here's the man who makes the sack. Something happened here. I don't know what's going on, but you see everybody surprised. I'm not so sure that Marinovich didn't roll the wrong way. You could see 76 Wisniewski was not prepared for Jones to be there right in his face.
Minus 12 on the play. So second down and 22 as Jones taken out, and Bill Belichick brings in some pass defenders. And that is the end of the opening quarter that featured 2 Raider turnovers, 2 Cleveland touchdowns.
How much insulation do you have in your attic? 3 inches? 6 inches? Well, the Department of Energy recommends R38 for most American homes, which is equivalent to a foot of Owens Corning pink fiberglass. So grab a ruler and measure your attic insulation. Then get rolling. and get a foothold on your energy bills. For more information, call 1-800-GET-PINK.
With Ryder's 24-hour number, not only can you get everything you need to make your move easier.
Does Route 60 run through Phoenix? Thanks.
But you can call us with any other questions you have along the way. Oh, and if you rent a truck by November 7th, you get a free Domino's pizza delivered right to your new home.
A reminder from Walmart. No matter who you are, no matter what you drive, there's one sure way to get more out of it. Regular oil changes with quality Haviland motor oil. When you add Haviland, you add more life to your car. And with Walmart savings every day of the year, you're not only miles ahead, you're dollars ahead too. Saving money at Walmart. It's an idea that's really catching on. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
2 touchdowns by Eric Metcalf, one on a 4-yard pass from Todd Philcox, another a 6-yard run, both after turnovers by the Raiders deep in their own end have given the Browns a 14-0 lead. We open the second quarter. Terry Robisky, the offensive coordinator, talking to Marinovich. This is Dick Enberg with Bob Trumpy at the Coliseum. One of these teams, unless we have a rare tie, will come out of this game 0-3. The Raiders have lost 6 in a row. The Browns have never had 3 consecutive losing seasons in their storied career. Bill Belichick, we saw him yesterday, talk with him. He looked like somebody had just worked him over for about 45 rounds.
Oh, awful. Sleepless nights for the head coach.
And he's a hard worker anyway. Inside handoff to Marcus Allen, breaking a tackle, getting outside and then pushed out of bounds. And almost going to be a penalty thrown there as the contact continue from Barry Wilburn.
You know, one of the things offenses and defenses do with personnel, they try to trick the other side. And Marcus Allen has been primarily a receiver for the Los Angeles Raiders. He's in the backfield. Cleveland looks for the pass. They give the ball to Marcus Allen. I still consider one of the game's great carriers, even at his advanced age. And there are a lot of people out here wondering exactly why he's not playing more, here being Los Angeles.
Now the all-time Raider rusher, 8,200 plus yards. He scored a total of 96 touchdowns, 78 of those rushing. Only 4 from that elite group that have scored 100 times in the league. 3rd and long. Good protection. Marinovich going to snap it. 15, and he's down at the 12-yard line. That'll be short of the first down. But the fans applaud the effort. 11 yards on the play.
Well, Marinovich probably did that yesterday afternoon up in Newport Beach. Told us he was going surfing, paddling out. He's going to dive underneath those waves. Nothing to it.
You sound like you've done it yourself.
Only on a boogie board. I loved his comment. When they named him the starting quarterback, the press said something to him, how do you feel? And he says, I'm stoked.
He and his dudes are going to try a field goal from the 20 and 30 yards. Actually just inside the 20, so Jager picks it through. Oh, no, he misses to the right. Jeff Jager, a relatively simple field goal attempt. That's his 4th miss in 3 games. He missed only 5 all last year when he set a Raider record 29 out of 34.
Snap looks good. Hold looks good. Hits the upright. Yes, this game is taking place in the Coliseum. That is the home field of the Los Angeles Raiders, but they have not had the ball bounce their way yet.
With its drivers and passenger side airbags and automatic seatbelt tensioners, the Acura Legend is more than a luxurious choice. It's also a rather safe one.
Introducing Levi's loose-fitting jeans.
misinterpretation of the original.
Slowing down, that ain't you. No, that's not you. Easy drinking beer, that silver bullet smooth.
Know where it's coming from, setting the mood, the pure taste of the Rockies and silver bullet smooth.
Make the move, cause lights, silver bullet smooth.
Tuesday, on the season premiere of Quantum Leap, Sam leaps into Lee Harvey Oswald. Quantum Leap, The Oswald Conspiracy premieres NBC Tuesday.
Jeff Jager, the Pro Bowl kicker in the AFC, the Pro Bowl punter Jeff Gossett, each not happy. Gossett a fumble on an attempted punt that led to a Cleveland touchdown, and Jager missing a 29-yard field goal, hitting the right upright. Cleveland 14, Raiders nothing from the 20. It's Bill Cox to Vardell, no gain. Smothered by Andre Bruce, the former number one player picked in '88 by Atlanta, and Greg Townsend.
I love Vardell, talking to him yesterday. Actually this year named the GTE Academic All-American Athlete of the Year.
That represents all the sports, so that is a high honor.
But he could not believe that he is playing professional football for a living. Just can't fathom
But
that.
he said, I thought I'd sleep till 12.
Yes.
Get up, go work out from 1 to 3:30, and then have my nights off. He said, I didn't realize this was 8 to 5, and I had to, what? He's the donut man.
He's the donut man. First round draft choices are donut men.
On 2nd and 10. Bill Cox going long. Only Eddie Anderson's back there of the Raiders. It'll be 3rd and 10. What do you mean by donut man?
Well, one of the things that veterans do to the top draft choice, I mean, they sign for millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, is they try to bring the guy down to earth. So generally what they do is they make touchdown Tommy, or whoever the first round draft choice on the team is, be subservient to the veterans on the team. The Browns' choice is he must buy all of the running backs and quarterbacks donuts.
Every morning.
Every morning. He gets up at 6:30. And they've not made it easy for the young man. They've not made it easy for him.
Phil Cox now 2 for 4 for 10 yards and a touchdown. Looks at 3rd and 10 into the teeth of a good pass rush. Throws to Metcalf. Diving for the 30, trying to get the first down, but he's out of bounds shy of the 29. It'll be 4th and 1. Torn Dorn made the play.
Interesting play call here. There are a lot of teams in the NFL that are using this thing called a cluster pattern. And what they do is they get 3 or 4 receivers sitting right next to each other and they try to scrape off defenders. Metcalf that time came underneath all the defenders, just couldn't quite pick up the needed yardage for the first down.
So Brian Hansen, who kicked for the Cougars at Sioux Falls, an NAIA school, to Notre Dame's Heisman winner Tim Brown. A dying spiral. Brown muffs it, and it's batted out of bounds. I believe it'll stay with the Raiders. Never possession of the Browns, and there's a flag down. It may have been illegally batted out of bounds, but the Raiders would take that penalty to keep possession. It looked to be 52 Mike Jones who swatted it away from the Cleveland Browns. But in essence, a very heady play by the second-year man Jones from Missouri, who was a fullback made into a linebacker by the Raiders. There he is. A 34-yard punt. Brown, a risky return, and couldn't get the handle. Kukar.
Illegal man downfield, holding against the defense. Kick it over again.
No batting of the ball after all.
Looks like the Raiders are using the visiting football today. It's not.
Ineligible man downfield on the kicking team. Holding on the receiving team. The penalty's offset. 4th down.
But this favors the receiving team. The coverage team has to run another 40 yards as far as they can. So this looks like it might be set up now for Tim Brown.
And the Raiders escaping another grievous error. That could have really punished them again. They're already down 14-0 on 2 turnovers.
Team is playing like a team. 0-2, the Raiders.
It's a much better kick by Hansen. and driving Brown back to his 20-yard line. Knife down at the 20. Same man, Mike Jones, right there for Cleveland. A 52-yard punt, 2 yards on the return for Brown.
Looks like it's an illegal block in the back too. Isn't it always on a punt? You know why that happens?
We have an illegal block in the back. Number 52 on the receiving team on the run back. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Dick, once the ball is off the punter's foot, all 7 officials have one thing to look for: the illegal blocks in the back. Every official. It's the only play in the game where they're all looking for the same thing. I don't know why they tried it, and that's an obvious one.
Right where the ball is.
Yeah, I mean, that's not disguised a bit.
Richard Brown, 52 of the Cleveland Browns, in on the tackle, and 52 of the Raiders. Mike Jones with a penalty that sets Marinovich at his 10-yard line on this possession. Browns leading 14-0. 12 minutes left in the half. All through. Marinovich down the middle. Clay Matthews, the veteran, playing in his 203rd game, has the interception at the 16-yard line.
One of the things young quarterbacks have to learn is you have to look off defenders. You watch 12, you see Clay Matthews sitting right here. He's the guy who comes up with the interception. Let's see where Marinovich is looking. Looking right where he's going to throw it. He does look off a little bit. Who's he throwing it to? Looked like Ethan Horton was the intended receiver. 88 deep. Clay Matthews, a
two men were
good
in
drop.
front of him.
Watch Matthews. See if he's looking outside. He's looking at the quarterback. Boy, Matthews is open. There's no question about that. Marinovich throws it right to him.
Clay Matthews, who has been a brilliant defender in his 15 years, a record for the Cleveland Browns, the first to ever play 15 consecutive years in that Cleveland uniform. Groza played more, but not consecutively. Did they get it off? Just did. Phil Cox. Ooh, he threw it in the crowd. Well covered was Sean Collins. Aaron Wallace looking for the pick himself. Clay Matthews, perhaps reserving his place in Canton, Ohio, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with his brilliant career. 203 games is the second most. He's tied with Doug Deacon for second all time. If he plays every game this year, he'll tie Lou Groza's 216 all time. Look at the tackle, 63 sacks. Just made his 14th interception. 4 blocked field goals 5 times in the Pro Bowl. Phil Cox, play action, throws to the tight end, and Pete Holohan has short yardage. Anthony Bell, the tackler. Michael Jackson and Sean Collins come in.
I was about to say, you can see the situation substitutions that the Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Raiders use. Phil Cox, the signals are brought in, the plays are brought in with a player, and you can see how I said the Raiders are playing with the visiting team's ball.
Yep.
Browns are owning it.
Browns have had drives that started at the LA 14, the LA 9, and now the LA 16. 3rd and 7.
There's a cluster at the bottom of the screen here. Watch for somebody to scrape off.
Oops, that's going to be illegal motion against the Browns. They didn't snap the ball, and the goal line had pulled back.
That was rather obvious, too. New quarterback.
And a new center.
That happens.
Jay Hilgenberg now over the ball.
False start on the offense. Practically the entire line. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Right you are, Bernie.
Yes, sir.
The Ben Dreith Award for 1992 to Bernie Kokar.
Right.
What was it? Dreith down there giving him the business.
Giving him the business.
3rd and 12. Left in the half. The Browns. 3rd and long. Wilcox down the middle. Caught! What a catch by Sean Collins for a touchdown! Oh my!
His first catch as a Cleveland Brown goes for a score, but there is a flag, Dick.
We'll see if it counts, and it may be holding against Cleveland. Yes, listen to the crowd as Collins paying the price for that brilliant effort for nothing.
So is Lionel Washington still down.
Two men blanketing Collins, and somehow he was able to rip the ball away from the Raiders.
Was shaken up on the play for the Raiders. With holding, number 68 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, still third down.
Ed King guilty of the hold. Here's the catch.
This is an unbelievable catch. Collins, formerly the Atlanta.
That was Eddie Anderson.
Of the Atlanta Falcons, one of the things the Browns liked about him, his size. He's a big kid, can make the tough catch. He wasn't small enough, quick enough, and fast enough. There's the holding right there on Ed King. He wasn't small enough and quick enough to suit Jerry Glanville in the run and shoot offense. There's the penalty flag. A great catch negated by the holding. Wilcox does a good job here, although he's certainly throwing it in a tough spot, but Collins goes up and makes the catch.
Eddie Anderson coming over, able to get the hit that really applied the pain to Collins.
Receivers generally don't like to be up in the air, strung out by quarterbacks anywhere on the football field, and especially when you're down on the goal line.
Collins helped off on the far side, and on the near side they help off Lionel Washington, who was part of the coverage. So Eddie Anderson got both of them. Appears to be the left knee that Lionel Washington is favoring, and Collins seems to be okay. What a catch. There's so many terrific receivers down there in Atlanta. Collins, a #1 pick by the Falcons, and remember, he had a terrific rookie year in '89. He caught 58 passes, most by any rookie receiver in '58. But then he fell out of favor with Jerry Glanville.
He did not fall out of favor with the management of the Atlanta Falcons. Ken Herrock, their general manager, loves Sean Collins. Said, I don't want to get rid of this kid. He's going to come back and hurt us someday.
Sam Seal has replaced Washington, and the Browns working their way out of field goal range. Wilcox to the sidelines, way over the head of Michael Jackson, and now it'll be a long field goal attempt for Matt Stover when it was a pretty easy shot earlier. So a couple of penalties, movement and holding, negate a touchdown for Bill Belichick. He said, boy, there are a lot of things. He said, it's frustrating when you lose, but when there are things that are happening that are out of your control, he said, I want to reach out and grab those, but hey, there's injuries, and some of those will be coming back in 4 weeks. 3 key players will return. Here's Stover, who will try a 45-yard field goal. High snap, and the kick is going to hook wide to the left. So the interception by Marinovich does not pay another dividend for Cleveland. It remains 14-0.
High snap. Actually, a good job to get that ball down so that Stover has a chance to kick it, but he does hook it just left.
I noticed a definite difference in the way they drive.
The Goodyear AquaTread all-season radial. Its advanced deep groove aqua channel channels water away as you drive.
Just like you're glued to the road. 60,000 mile guarantee. Snow, wet, dry, strong, secure.
AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
Gives me a feeling of Aquaman.
Another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
I'd go to Goodyear immediately. I really would.
In the world of luxury automobiles, you expect aerodynamic styling. A beautifully crafted, leather-trimmed interior, the uncompromising safety of driver's and passenger side airbags, and the superior performance of a 24-valve engine. You just don't expect it to be so affordable. The Acura Luxury Lease Program, it's more than a lease. It's a legend.
The Allstate agent who helps insure your home can give you a hand with a plan for life insurance. Life insurance. Your Allstate agent wants to be your agent for life. You're in good hands with Allstate. Time to think about life insurance? Let your Allstate agent work it out on paper. Everything from mortgage protection to a plan for a breezy retirement. Let your Allstate agent be your agent for life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By cold-filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Allstate Insurance Company. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Crowd expected to be around 50,000. Several thousand Cleveland Browns fans. 14-0. Raiders take over after the field goal, and there's contact before the snap. Rob Burnett, number 90, charging into the Raider offensive line. It'll be 1st and 5. Meanwhile, in that,
we have encroachment. Number 90 on the defense prior to the snap. Still first down after 5-yard penalty.
For the Raiders, here are the first half possessions for Los Angeles. Fumble, punt, miss, field goal, and interception.
No wonder they're 0-2. They're certainly playing like it today.
Smith and Bell behind Marinovic. Nick Bell, big guy from Iowa, and wasn't able to get to full speed going into the line on that carry.
And Dick, I'm going to repeat this. The Raiders have historically been an intimidating football team. You can't intimidate a team without running the ball. Nick Bell being inserted into the lineup at 6'3", 250 pounds is an attempt to slam the ball at the line of scrimmage, take some steam out of the Cleveland Browns. In the last 2 years, this team has not really intimidated anybody with that running game. Not since Jackson's been gone.
Even though they run more than any team. They've
Absolutely.
only passed 750 times the last 2 years. By far the least number of passes in the league.
But there's
out to Bell. And it's a first down at the 45.
To answer your question about the running game as we watch the replay,
Terry Taylor, the veteran cornerback, down.
They do not throw to running backs out of the backfield very much unless it's Marcus Allen, but they got their two big fullbacks, Smith and Bell, in there. Marinovich finds him open, and then Terry Taylor really gets nailed by that big body, 250 pounds. I'll answer your question in a minute.
Timeout. 9:56 left in the half.
Only Delta gives you more flights from over here to over there. Only Delta flies you non-stop to more cities from over here to over there. In fact, only Delta flies you non-stop to more cities in Europe than all these airlines combined. Delta, we love to fly, and it shows the world over.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
With its drivers and passenger side airbags and automatic seatbelt tensioners, the Acura Legend is more than a luxurious choice. It's also a rather safe one.
It's premiere week on NBC. Tonight on an all-new Secret Service, an undercover agent walks a thin line between his duty and desire, based on the actual case. Then, eyewitness and extreme skier take an incredible fall and see this woman survive an attack by whales. An all-new eyewitness video after Secret Service on NBC tonight.
Terry Taylor working that right shoulder after the hit on Bell. Randy Hilliard, 39, replacing him at the corner. First down, Raiders. Flushed out of the pocket, chased by Burnett, finds an open man, Tim Brown. He's out of bounds for the first down at the Cleveland 44-yard line. Back to your point on the Raiders' intimidation by run.
Bo Jackson. It used to be when you played the Los Angeles Raiders, the first thing your defensive coordinator did every week is say, we got to stop this running back. He is the key to the game. When you've got a great running back like Bo Jackson, like Marcus Allen several years ago, you get 7 guys to the line of scrimmage thinking first run, and it allows the offensive lineman to beat your defensive lineman to a pulp. It doesn't happen anymore with the Los Angeles Raiders.
On first down with flags down, Bell into the 39-yard line, and let's check the penalty.
They are hoping Nick Bell is that next guy. The threat every time he carries the ball at 6'3", 250.
With sprinter speed, it's against the Browns.
Offside, number 75 on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Pio Sangapulatelli from San Diego State. You got to be a big guy with a name like that,
yes,
just so you can be sure all the letters get on. Raiders 81 yards, not that impressive. Cleveland only 34 yards. If you're just tuning in, you'd figure the Raiders are ahead or it's scoreless. Nope, 14-0 Cleveland on a couple of turnovers. Marinovich first and 5. All day to throw. And it's to Tim Brown, incomplete. He was juggling as he went out of bounds.
Taylor is back in the ball game. Nice single coverage. Nice job by Tim Brown coming back at the football. This is zone coverage. You can see Taylor looking in at the quarterback. Brown slips. Ball takes a while to get there. Never has control of it. Excellent call. Second and a few. 5.
Barry Taylor, former #1 pick of the Seahawks. 84 out of Southern Illinois. Split behind Marinovich. To Bell again. Hit, but not until another first down for the Raiders at the 33-yard line. Mike Johnson and Vince Newsom collaborating on the hit.
Interesting choice here by the Raiders. They have their 2 biggest running backs, Steve Smith, Nick Bell in the backfield, and then throwing underneath to them.
Here's just to support your theory on the Raiders of Art Shell. Trumpy, all 7 first downs in this half by the Raiders by pass.
Wow, didn't used to be that way, did it?
Greg Skrepenek, the second-round pick from Michigan, in the offensive line now for the Raiders. They reverse to Brown, and he's dragged down just shy of the 30. Mike Johnson, the 2-time Pro Bowler from Virginia Tech, read it well.
Boy, is this kid a player.
So smart.
He was an academic All-American at Virginia Tech yesterday. Before he talked to us, he had a little extra time. So in waiting, it seems to me he was kind of designing what he wants running backs to look like for the opponents. No. When he hits him, he wants them to see the world like this. He can do it too.
Designs and makes his own furniture, and he's the spelling bee champion of the Cleveland Browns as they work on Rob Burnett. Reminder, tomorrow night NBC's premiere week continues with an all-new episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Blossom, followed by an NBC world premiere movie based on the true story. Carolyn Sapp, Miss America 1992, stars in her own remarkable story, Miss America Behind the Crown. That's tomorrow night on NBC. And to look ahead a week from today, a doubleheader here on NBC begins at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. There's the lineup, Denver and Cleveland. A lot of history associated with that matchup, and Buffalo, New England.
Oh, man, I like both those games right there. Denver, Cleveland. Of course, Elway has Elwayed Cleveland a lot. New England beat Buffalo last year.
Pittsburgh, Green Bay late. We'll be at Anaheim Stadium to see the Jets looking for their first win after an 0-3 start against the Los Angeles Rams. Miami and Seattle also a late game. Rob Burnett to the sidelines. Appears to be okay. Steve Wisniewski back in. Skripanik in for a play. 2nd and 8. 14-0. Cleveland leads. Approaching the 7-minute mark of this first half. And another whistle. Right guard.
False start on the offense to right guard prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Read the lips of the linesman Todd Pete, who's in there for the veteran Max Montoya. Montoya injured, will be out from 4 to 6 weeks with a knee. They don't want to operate. He wants to just use exercise. There's Montoya, the 14-year veteran, played at UCLA and of course with the Cincinnati Bengals.
One of the NFL's greatest pulling guards. For his size, man, could he lead a sweep.
Anthony Munoz and Montoya with the Bengals, or rivals, USC, UCLA. What a formation for the Bengals. Marinovich just does get himself out of trouble. No one open, and he eats it, and the ball was free there a couple of times. Juggled, and then as the tackles made it to 35. Richard Brown, extra linebacker, 52 in on the play. Brown from San Diego State already made a big hit on special teams.
Nice coverage by the Browns. Marinovich had nobody to throw the ball to, and he made the right choice. Except I'd like to see him tuck that ball in a little better, protect it a little more.
It's a sack, the 2nd for Cleveland today, and brings up 3rd down, making 3 sacks for the Browns. There's Marinovich's number. It's 3rd and 12. Marcus Allen on 3rd down in the backfield. Gets away, but flags are flying. And Marinovich struggles and finally looking for Marcus Allen, unable to get it there. And one suspects there was some holding going on in the Raider backfield.
Suspects, yes. Stevan Moore finally got to the quarterback. He just saw Mike Johnson run up to the referee and say, if we take the play, is it 4th down? See what choice they've made here.
Holding, number 76 on the offense. Penalty declined. 4th down.
Pro Bowler the last 2 years, Steve Wisniewski. It is a shame that we only show linemen when they're involved in a penalty. And here's a terrific young player from Penn State. You don't see all the good things they do.
You're right. Back to his offensive line coach, Kim Helton, was at one time at Houston. He says when you look at Houston and you look at Bruce Matthews when he played guard, and then moving here with Wisniewski and Montoya, he said, I've had the great fortune throughout my coaching career to coach 3 of the best offensive guards in the history of the NFL.
Jager's 53-yarder last year against San Diego, a career high. He's trying to match it out of the hold of Gossett. It's blocked. And another failure by the special teams of the Los Angeles Raiders. Cleveland will take over at their own 46-yard line. It appeared to be Rob Burnett got a hand on it.
Well, what's Art's next idea? Changing quarterbacks has not inspired the Los Angeles Raiders to this point. All 11 are coming. It doesn't appear to take too long. It looks like he's going to hook it badly. I mean, miserably to the left. The guy who blocks it comes from the outside. Is that Terry Taylor? No, it's a man up front. Rob Burnett, 90, gets his hand on it.
In the world of luxury automobiles, you expect aerodynamic styling. A beautifully crafted, leather-trimmed interior, the uncompromising safety of driver's and passenger side airbags, and the superior performance of a 24-valve engine. You just don't expect it to be so affordable. The Acura Luxury Lease Program. It's more than a lease. It's a legend.
From Walt Disney Pictures.
Are we ducks or what? Yeah!
This fall, America's...
You think you're busy? 2 words. Deion Sanders. He's scoring touchdowns. He's hitting triples. He's getting his hair done. He's wearing 7,000 pounds worth of clothing. He's hanging with his posse. He's out of control. He's washing his cars. He's riding in his helicopter. He's babysitting his daughter. He's tying his shoes. He's still out of control. He's so busy he needs 2 nicknames. Prime Time and Neon Deion. Okay? But he's still hitting the bike, the weights, the road, and the pool. And you know what? He's still out of control. I think you hear me knocking, and I think I'm coming in. And I got Deion and his 27 nicknames with me. Need a nickname? Maybe he'll lend you one. Wrong.
Art Shell, and he was doing some vocalizing. He's a very quiet man, Shell, and a very good one. They say that he even shouts quiet, but I would wonder what it's going to be like in that locker room of the Raiders at halftime.
You don't want to be there. It's going to be ugly.
A blocked field goal by Burnett from the 46-yard line. The Browns twisting and turning, and paying the price is Eric Metcalf, pinballing his way out to the 48-yard line.
But again, it appears to be some sloppy tackling. I mean, Metcalf, not a particularly big guy, goes through the first arms of whoever the defender was, makes a couple of extra yards. Ronnie Lott has been no factor in this game to this point. Where are these guys?
There's Lott, the 10-time Pro Bowler. And hardly his responsibility for those failures.
No, not at all.
But he can make the other side fail, and has so many times with the key turnovers forced by his talent as a hitter and interceptor. Wilcox throwing for Jackson, and no catch. Was unable to hang on at the 18-yard line.
So close.
Ronnie Lott on the coverage. Jackson from southern Mississippi, who leads the Browns with 8 catches.
Doesn't look like there's going to be anything special on this coverage. It's just Michael Jackson straight down the field. We wonder where Ronnie Lott was. Here's Lott. He's a little late getting back, but really Michael Jackson just a little hitch and go. Wilcox waits on him. Lott does get over there, but he's supposed to cut down that reception. Can't quite get there in time, but just a little overthrown.
3rd and 7.
Here's the cluster, bottom of the screen.
Wilcox just does get it away, incomplete. Intended for the tight end Houlihan. Now the Browns, who have not moved the ball against the Raider defense, but have taken advantage of a couple of turnovers deep in Raider territory for the 14-0 lead, will have to punt it away. Brian Hansen in once again, and Tim Brown will drift back to his 10-yard line to receive for the Raiders. Zone and well into it for the touchback. 51 yards, but 31 net for Hansen. Now the Raiders with 4.5 minutes remaining in this first half will try to get on the scoreboard, as we remind you that on Tuesday night a special 2-hour season premiere on NBC of Quantum Leap, a powerful movie with a surprise ending. And on the all-new Dateline, an exclusive interview with Garth Brooks, is he calling it quits. Dateline NBC with Jane Pauley, Stone Phillips, Tuesday night.
Tell me it's not true. Garth Brooks is not going to quit the country western business. Tell me it can't be true.
I don't know. You're a pretty big guy to cry. I know that.
I love to hear Steele cry too.
Well, I would think that this is about as big a series for Marinovich and for the Raiders as we'll find in this game, as they're down 14-0. A touchdown here before the half, and it would just paint a whole different picture for Los Angeles in this game. Marinovich, unbothered, finally releases, and center almost intercepted at the 30 as Sam Grady takes it away from Randy Hilliard. Hilliard right on it.
Yeah, Dick, I was going to say the bad news is the Raiders are down 14-0. That's also the good news. They could have been down a lot more. And again, watch Marinovich. Kind of a half-hearted fake to Steve Smith. Boy, he is staring right at receivers over there on the left-hand side of the field. Certainly helps the defenders to know where to be. Grady makes an excellent catch for a first down, but this offense looks like it's in slow motion, Dick.
Here comes Bell. He's to the 35-yard line, a pickup of 4. Brandon and others on the tackle.
And I still don't believe with 3:46 to go in this first half, the Raiders have a first down rushing. I think they're still all
through the air. They are.
That hasn't happened many times in the history of the Los Angeles Raiders, but it's a direct link to their problems.
Well, Eric Dickerson didn't get the job done. Marcus Allen hasn't been given much of an opportunity. He's had contract problems with the Raiders and Al Davis for the last few years, and not in the doghouse, but he is out in the backyard. In fact, he's been such a good trade. That ball just getting there in time as a flag goes down, a late flag. That usually means a tight end holding.
Hey, be kind now.
Tim Brown made the catch. Against Los Angeles. Illegal use of the hands.
You know, I'm wondering if the change.
Offensive pass interference, number 87, blocking downfield, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Andrew Glover, and what's his position?
Plays tight end. Plays tight end.
That's a way. Come right out and admit it. At the 25, it'll be the 10-yard penalty. Here's Glover.
He's on Brandon. This was purely accidental, I'm sure. It was not intentional.
9th penalty today. The Raiders led the league again last year in penalties and penalty yards. Marinovich into the flat to Smith. Blocked at the 35, and he's able to fall forward to the 37-yard line. Not enough for the first down. We'll bring up third and about 4.
Dick, I was going to make the point that the change of quarterback, certainly in the minds of a lot of people, settled the Raiders players on the right side. They like Marinovich. But I'm wondering also if all the attention paid to Todd Marinovich has distracted this Los Angeles Raider team. Now, I say that and know that this is one of the most experienced teams in the NFL. Something is not right here for the Raiders.
They're the oldest team in the NFL. That is for certain. Modest numbers by Marinovich. 3rd and 4. Down the middle. And Tim Brown, who apparently is his top target, has a first down at the 46 of Cleveland. 17 on that play.
But if that ball is thrown chest high to Tim Brown, he's still running. He is on the inside. Wilburn 47 in coverage. Nice move. Watch what Brown has to do to catch it. If he catches it upstairs, he is still running.
A 2-minute warning.
Wouldn't it be great if you could afford a luxurious mansion? For you and all your friends? Of course, the place needed some updates. Like a bowling alley and a pool table. Naturally, you'd have an open house. Boats here! With beer! Harold, do something! Icy, cold-filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Bottle beer tasted in a can. Now, wouldn't that be great?
Need a fresh start? Get the battery that's proven to start over 50,000 times. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
I'm paid to buy the high-volume copiers. I don't want to have to worry about them.
The corporate line from Canon.
If our copiers are working, our people are working.
Reliable high-volume copiers you don't have to think about. The corporate line from Canon, the new power and high-volume copy.
The water on the left is being heated by electricity. On the right, by gas. For the cost of heating this much water with electricity, we'd like to show you how much more you can get with gas. And if your neighborhood doesn't have natural gas, you can still heat for less than electricity with propane gas. So no matter where you live, why settle for the water on the left when gas gives you all that hot water on the right? Gas, America's best energy value.
The Raiders are not building for the future. They're a team of now, the oldest in the league, 19 players 30 or older. Experience over 6, most in the NFL. It's not the silver and black, it's the silver and gray that we're seeing in 1992.
You are absolutely right.
There was a theory, the late George Allen, and when he was the coach of the Rams, he really wanted old players, and there was a correlation between the oldest teams being the playoffs teams. That doesn't work out quite as well in the last 5 years or so.
There certainly is a law of diminishing returns for any person in this league at a certain age. You can't do the things you could do 2 or 3 years ago, and the end comes quickly.
But they have the youngest quarterback in the league network in Marinovich. Good move by Grady. He's not just a track star anymore. He's become a real receiver. It's been a project for Los Angeles, but the Raiders now have a speedster who can play wide receiver.
You can see Hilliard is playing the prevent. This is zone. Grady with an excellent move, great acceleration, nice 10-yard pickup. This is a well-orchestrated drive, but the Browns are helping here. They're kind of in their prevent mode.
Minute and a half to go. Marcus Allen searching for a hole and then ducking in at the 21. James Jones with a tackle. Raiders are going to spend a timeout with 1:23 left in the half. That is their first timeout taken here in the 30 minutes of this first half. As Art Shell now at the 22-yard line. Dana Delaney and Martin Mole. A couple of Cleveland Browns fans, Tim Conway and others. There's quite a legion of Cleveland fans in Hollywood. Martin Mole, in fact, there was rumors he was going to go out and get the kicking tee. I don't know if we had that confirmed as yet.
I don't know that we have that much time for Martin Mole to run out there and get the kicking tee and bring it back.
Well, and that's tough to do here in Raider country because they've got Run, the former roller derby star who does that work here in Los Angeles. There's Martin Mole. He's dressed for the part. He's actually tried some field goals and extra points, gone out to Cleveland practices.
He'll never be mistaken for a professional football player, though.
Well, we'll check his action. Maybe he indeed will. See, the Browns, no, they don't kick off to start the second half. It'll be the Raiders kicking off. Well, we'll keep an eye. Meanwhile, the Raiders looking for something on the board, trailing 14-0. Second and 5 for Marinovich. Nice quickly outside, and it'll be another first down as Grady knocked down at the 10-yard line.
Just a simple hitch. Another timeout called by Todd Marinovich. Grady just runs 5 yards down the field, stops. 3-step drop by Todd Marinovich, nothing to it. This is a very high percentage throw. Hilliard is the man in coverage. You can't be any more conservative than the Los Angeles Raiders have been in this drive, taking no chance whatsoever with turning the ball over.
Brady's third catch, halftime. The Domino's Pizza halftime live with Buddy Ryan. His candid comments on the pregame show. He's not afraid to speak his mind. Never has been. He was a terrific addition, I thought. Really enjoyed his comments. I wonder what he has to say at halftime. And Gail Gardner will have a special feature. He always does such a terrific job. And Mark Bavaro, the Cleveland Browns all-pro tight end, former Giant star, is her subject. That's at halftime, so stay with us. Bavaro fairly quiet other than a terrific block on the Metcalf touchdown run early in the game.
Is that Paul McGuire? No, he's not here.
He did win the Paul McGuire lookalike contest, however, in LA. First and goal from the 10. They have the full 10 yards to go. Marcus Allen gets only one with that. One timeout left for the Raiders. The clock is running toward the 1-minute mark.
Boy, the Browns come with a big chance here. They come with a double safety blitz. And they catch the Raiders trying to run inside. They call the right defense, and the Raiders run the wrong play.
47 seconds. Marinovich into the end zone. Almost intercepted. That was a jump ball. Randy Hilliard and Sam Grady. And Hilliard, inch taller, almost got the deflection to himself.
Just a little floater. They call these spade patterns, but the receiver never gets his head around. Actually, the defender has a lot better chance of catching the ball than receiver. Grady was falling back, had no chance to get up for that ball.
Third and goal, just inside the 10 with 43 seconds left. 14-0. Cleveland leads.
What a
big play here for the Raiders.
To drive this distance and have to settle for 3 points.
Again, 71 yards on this drive. That's Mervin Fernandez. On the blitz, Marinovich throws it into an open spot. And lucky that didn't flop into the hands of the enemy.
Again, double safety blitz, Dick. Called perfectly, not picked up by the Raiders. You're going to see them both come. And they get there before Marinovich can set up. He does a great job of getting this ball off to avoid the sack. Excellent call by Nick Saban, defensive coordinator, Cleveland Browns. There he is.
It was Eric Turner, who played here as a collegian as a UCLA Bruin, who got to Marinovich. So the short field goal try by Gossett. This one is 28 yards. Remember, he's missed from 30 and was blocked from 53. Officially, it'll be 27 yards. And the Raiders finally have some points. 34 seconds left in the half. Cleveland 14, Los Angeles 3.
Art Shell not happy. 71 yards they go and have to settle for 3 points. That's Kim Helton on the right, the offensive line coach. Terry Robisky, the offensive coordinator. They're trying to figure out how that double safety blitz was not picked up from behind the offense. You can see what happens. Nobody picks it up. Now this is a real chance for the defense to take. Marcus Allen gets one. Turner scot-free.
Meanwhile, Todd Marinovich, his numbers, his report card doesn't look all that bad. 14 for 22, 156 yards. So he's working on a 300-yard passing day, but has only a field goal to show for it. Well, the Browns looking for their first win. So are the Raiders. And Marinovich and his elder company sit and mull over this first 30 minutes. Not very pretty.
I don't think the 3 points is really going to allow this team to escape the wrath of one Art Shell at halftime.
Jager's kick deep toward the end zone. Randy Baldwin won't risk a return. We'll down it there.
Randy Baldwin.
Well, the other side of the coin, Bob Trumpy, is that Todd Philcox, in his first start with Cleveland, his first NFL start, he is 4 for 10 today. He was 4 for 10 career coming into the game. There's no assurance that the Browns are going to get those possessions, 3 that they've had in this first half, inside the Raider 20-yard line. And the Raider defense certainly has stymied Philcox other than those opportunities and denied him a field goal on that last turnover. In fact, Cleveland has but 37 total yards in the half. It leads by 11.
Yeah, the Raiders have helped Cleveland a whole bunch in this first half.
Surprisingly, Philcox in the shotgun with 34 seconds. The Browns do have 3 timeouts and another penalty.
His chin strap is not fastened. Howie Long is saying, wait a minute, he drew me offside, but Todd Philcox has got to fasten his chin strap. They can call a penalty on him.
Well, the 5 yards won't be for that.
No, it was illegal procedure. But I've seen referees stop the game and say, son, fasten that chin strap, will you?
Correction. False start on number 77 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Freddie Childress, with Howie Long staring him in the eye, moved too quickly.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He's the top of the screen, and Freddie Childress in there. And because of the problem with Reenstra, Dan Fike, the normal right tackle, moves out. Yeah, I don't blame Freddie Childress for coming out of that stance too quickly. Howie Long certainly took the advantage to get across the line of scrimmage.
First and 15 from the 15. And the handoff for no gain to Leroy Horde. Rose Bowl star for the Michigan Wolverines a couple of years ago in '89. He won the MVP honors, 142 yards over at Pasadena, came out early. Willie Broughton made the tackle for the Raiders, and obviously both teams are content to let this first half come to an end with that play. A half in which the Browns had 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles and an interception inside the Raider 20-yard line, and manufactured 2 touchdowns out of those turnovers. 14-3 the score at the intermission. We'll be right back after a message from the NFL. We'll have NFL Live, but first these words from your local station.
The winner of the United Way Spelling Bee is Mike Johnson of the Cleveland Browns.
Education was always uppermost in my mind. But can you or any of us imagine how small our world would be if we were illiterate? I want you to meet James Means. He retired recently and did something he meant to do a long time ago. He learned to read and write. James Means started here at Project Learn It's an adult tutoring program started through your support of the United Way. He couldn't get most jobs, but the hardest was with his children, coming to him to ask for help with their schoolwork. He said it hurts to say no when you love them so much. James Means is the most courageous man I've ever met. Today he reads to his grandchildren, but no stories have a greater hero than this man who reads to them, because he loves them so much.
Your local United Way, helping where help is needed most. This message furnished by the National Football League.
Monday, NBC Premiere Week fires off with the Fresh Prince Blossom Hour. First, Will checks out the hood and becomes a big hit with the homeboys. Plus, Aunt Bib's got a shocker. Then, is Blossom's romance all washed up? And Joey's got a divine date with Jessica Hahn.
What can I do for you, Padre?
Holy Fresh Prince Blossom Hour, all new NBC Monday.
He's the hottest entertainer in America today.
He's heroes to us.
But is Garth Brooks calling it quits?
It ain't what it used to be.
A Dateline exclusive, Tuesday.
How deep did Nationwide's Auto Parts cut prices for the big weekend sale? To the bone. The big Nationwide sale. Get it before it's gone.
Start your week right with Champion Spark Plugs, 39 cents each after rebate. Mobile Super HP 10W30 and 10W40, 79 cents a quart. Monroe-Matic Shocks, just $9.97 each. And Powertron 750 battery, $39.99 with exchange, now through Monday at Nationwide.
Get it right, Nationwide Auto Parts.
For coverage that reaches out to where you live.
Fire investigators say it would be nearly impossible
for breaking stories you can't get anywhere else.
They'll decide whether the case falls under federal.
For the most advanced weather reports.
We had to track a little further to the south sooner today.
Turn to the Channel 3 news team. Get the latest news from award-winning anchors Dick Fagler and Connie Deacon. Exclusive Doppler 3 weather forecasts from Amy Haston. And Jim Donovan's special brand of sports. Channel 3 News, weeknights at 6 and 11.
Stars, Kurt Russell and Martin Short, Nick Donahue.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Bob Costas back with the juice as always, and Buddy Ryan, who's our guest this weekend in the studio in New York. And the game you folks are watching, Cleveland, of course, in front of the Raiders, 14-3 at the half. Elsewhere, the Lions, who have never won at Washington, 0-16 against the Redskins there through the years, trailing 10-3 at the half at RFK. Dallas, with Troy Aikman twice hitting Michael Irvin for touchdowns, 41 and 87 yards, leading the Cardinals 21-10 at the half. Pittsburgh in front at San Diego, halftime there, 7-6. Miami, with Marino throwing for 2 touchdowns in the first half, leading 17-0 over the Rams. These are finals from earlier. Philadelphia is a winner 30-0 at home against the Broncos. Eagles are 3-0. 3 more touchdown passes for Randall Cunningham. He's thrown 8 this year without an interception. They held Elway and the Broncos to 82 total yards and just 4 first downs. San Francisco drops the Jets to 0-3. The Niners are 2-1. 31-14 is the final score in this game, but they lost John Taylor, the great wide receiver, for from somewhere to 6 to 8 weeks with a broken left fibula. Their other great target, Jerry Rice, hauls in this 5-yarder from Steve Young. 94th career touchdown reception for Rice. The record is Steve Largent's 100, and Rice will have it soon enough. Here's Young scrambling for a touchdown. This is still in the first half. Up the middle he goes, 10 yards for the score that makes it 14-0. Ken O'Brien, meanwhile, was having no such success. In at quarterback again with Browning Nagel hurt. Sacked 3 times in the first half. Credit for this one will go to Tim Harris. O'Brien threw 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter, but by that time they were losing 31-0. And the final is 31-14, and Bruce Coslett's guarantee earlier in the week of a Jets victory doesn't materialize.
I told him I didn't say that to motivate him. I didn't say it for cannon fodder for Coach Seifert's bulletin board either. And some of the local editors chose to guarantee a victory. I never said that. I said we are going to win. What was I supposed to say? We're going to lose? Next question.
Next question, next score, overtime. Houston 23-20 against the Chiefs at the Astrodome. Let's show you how it ended. The Chiefs won the overtime toss, but they'll turn the ball over on this play. Dave Craig will hit J.J. Burden. Chris Dishman, however, will poke the ball loose. Doug Smith recovers it for Houston on the Kansas City 24. They run one play to set themselves up, and then they bring in Al Del Greco. He hits a 39-yard field goal earlier in the game. He had hit a 54-yard field goal, and Houston wins in overtime 23-20, and both these clubs are now 2-1. Green Bay, in the wildest game of the day, wins for the first time for the new head coach Mike Holmgren. First defeat for the Bengals' new top man, David Shula. Both those clubs, well, actually, Green Bay now 1-2, and Cincinnati 2-1. That was Don Majkowski having injured his left ankle on the sideline, and his replacement pulled the game out. This is the rookie Carl Pickens from Tennessee, reversing his field and going 95 yards for a Bengal touchdown on the punt return, which made the score 10-0 in the second quarter. They led 17-3 early in the fourth quarter when this punt was run back for a Green Bay touchdown by the Packers' #1 pick out of Florida State, Terrell Buckley. 58-yard TD brought them back to within 17-10. It was 20-10 late in the fourth quarter when Brett Favre, the replacement for Majkowski, second-year man out of Southern Mississippi, flipped this touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp, who lunges across to make it 20-17. A Bengal field goal made it 23-17. Now 19 seconds to play. Ball at the 35. No timeouts left. Favre pumps once, goes down the sideline to Kittrick. Taylor gets behind the cornerback for the touchdown. The extra point wins it, and the Packers take a 24-23 come-from-behind victory over the Bengals at Lambeau Field. Minnesota takes their record to 2-1. Tampa Bay has the same mark, 26-20. The Vikings win today at the Metrodome. New Orleans wins at the Georgia Dome over the Falcons 10-7 on Morton Anderson's 47-yard field goal with just under 2 minutes to play. And Seattle got 122 yards rushing from Chris Warren, and they sacked Hugh Millen 6 times. Tom Fleury's first win as the Seahawks head coach, 10-6 today at Foxborough. Take a look at the list of quarterbacks who went down today. Majkowski, as we said, with the injured ankle. We're not sure how long he'll be out. They say ligament damage. Rich Gannon of the Vikings injured his hand, and Sean Salisbury quarterbacked them to victory. Vinny Testaverde bruised his forearm. He was replaced by Steve DeBerg, who actually did pretty well for a while, but the Bucs lost the game to the Vikings. And Stan Humphries, in a game going on now in San Diego, goes out with an ankle injury, so Bob Galliano is in, so they're down to their third string guy. They lost John Freese in preseason, and now Humphries. Those quarterback injuries.
Well, what's going to have to happen in the league, the offensive coordinators are going to have to start keeping people in to protect their quarterback. They send everybody out in a pattern, they split everybody out, they side adjust blitzes, which is cute, but your quarterback gets hit and they end up getting hurt.
I just hope the league owners don't try to make any new rules to protect the quarterback, because any other player in the game, any other position that got most of those injuries would still have to play. It's a physical football game, and you're going to hurt your ankles and you're going to hurt your fingers.
All right, Mark Bavaro has had more than his share of injuries, but he's back in the game with the Browns, and Gail Gardner will talk to him when we continue following these messages from your local stations.
It's premiere week on NBC. Tonight on an all-new Secret Service, an undercover agent walks a thin line between his duty and desire, based on the actual case. Then, eyewitness and extreme skier take an incredible fall and see this woman survive an attack by whales. An all-new eyewitness video after Secret Service on NBC tonight.
Tuesday, on the season premiere of Quantum Leap, Sam leaps into Lee Harvey Oswald. Quantum Leap, the Oswald Conspiracy premieres NBC Tuesday.
BP's research and testing tends to leave an impression on most visitors.
4th floor, aviation fuel research. 6th floor, marine fuel testing.
And we put this research to use in a very practical place. Your local BP station.
Pizza for Todd King. Top floor.
Top floor, space research.
BP, on the move.
He caught his father-in-law's murderer himself, the son-in-law sleuth.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Gail Gardner joins us again, as she will each halftime this season. Mark Bavaro is a guy who didn't do much talking when he played for the Giants. Suddenly he's opened up in what is a surprising new phase of his career.
And of course, I think part of it is that he has done something that I think was totally unexpected, perhaps even by him. You know, when he was released by the Giants prior to training camp in 1991, it was done in such a seemingly ungrateful manner that it caused a hue and cry among New York fans and media. In the offseason, he had bone grafted from his hip to try and replace the dead bone in his severely injured left knee. The Giants felt they would never see his face on an NFL field again. How wrong they were.
He just was a relentless, aggressive, talented player. He just was physically a very imposing guy. He was all the things that a coach could want.
Mike Ditka, Ozzie Newsome, perhaps the Hall of Fame. That was the company he was in. Until his left knee was destroyed against San Diego in October of 1989. After ligament surgery, he returned in '90, helping the Giants to their second Super Bowl title in 5 years, pushing himself despite a daily level of pain that most of us could not tolerate.
I enjoy that season more than I did the '86 season. There's something about doing it again. You know, we were the underdogs. You know, when you pull something off like that, it's a better feeling, knowing that you've overcome the odds.
But after Mark's experimental bone graft surgery in February of '91, the Giants felt those were odds he would never overcome, and they unceremoniously released him.
Though I had expected that the Giants would allow me to recuperate and rehabilitate through this upcoming season in the hopes of my coming back for the 1992 season, the Giants did not share that same thought.
Who were you in 1991? What were you doing?
My wife had to finish law school, and I just assumed my role as a husband, as a father, as a house husband, as a son, as a friend.
A good friend, former Giants assistant, now Browns head coach Bill Belichick, brought Bavaro to camp, and surprisingly, he earned a spot on the roster. What has it been like for you coming into a whole new city and a whole new set of teammates?
It's like being a rookie all over again. I played in the NFL, but I didn't play with these guys. You know, they don't know what I can do. They're not sure that I can still even do it anymore. It's a humbling experience, and I think more people need to go through that.
At what point did you realize this was workable?
I still don't know if it is. Like, I could be gone next week. That's how fragile my knee is, you know. So I try to do my best, and when that day comes that my best isn't good enough, then it'll be time to leave.
Great story, but a concern here.
Sure.
There are abundant examples of this. Joe Namath, Jim Otto, you can go down the list. And there's more and more attention these days on the toll playing in the NFL takes, the inhuman toll that it takes on a person's body, legitimate medical concerns. And what is he thinking about?
For the rest of their lives, of course.
Right.
What he said to me was, my knee is as bad as it will ever be. The doctors have told me it can't be any worse than it is. And so he feels he can continue to play, and they said he can continue to play. What you should understand is that they have filled a hole in his knee with a piece of bone. They don't even know if it's alive. The knee could collapse tomorrow like that. But he's not going to be any worse off than he is now. The knee has pain, he has arthritis, he knows it, but it won't be any worse.
All right, we've got to get out of here. Thanks for the report, Gail. Our NFL Live halftime activities will continue.
Welcome back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The second half just underway. The kickoff to Randy Baldwin, and he'll down it in the end zone in Cleveland, leading 14-3. We'll start from the 20-yard line. A quick look at the Coors Light first half statistics. The 3 turnovers. The Raiders led to the 14 points for Cleveland. And Bob Trumpy, very little offense, 37 yards for the Browns.
And the 11 first downs by the Raiders, all by the pass, 20-9, 2-1 in time of possession for the Raiders. We're going to find out, I think, in this first series just how big a bite Art Shell took out of a part of his Raider football team in that locker room at halftime.
Phil Cox and the Browns gained 14 yards in the last 13 plays of the half. And they lose 2 on first down to start the second half as James Brooks unable to get upfield.
Looked like Lionel Washington gets across the line of scrimmage here. This is a sweep. They try to lead block with the tight end. He tries to hook. That's Galbraith trying to hook Scott Galbraith, the outside linebacker, but Lionel Washington there to make the tackle.
That's good news for the Raiders. Washington, who was nicked on that end zone collision with Sean Collins, where the Browns did not get a touchdown, called back on an offensive holding call, and that denied them a 21-3 lead coming into the second half. Phil Cox deflected, and It flops freely on the ground. It was intended for Scott Galbraith, who played his college ball on this turf for Southern California. Big Bob Golick might have gotten a piece of it.
I noticed yesterday at the Raiders practice he'd shaved, and I said, gee, I haven't seen you shaving in a long time. And he says, well, it's starting to come in a little gray. And, you know, age is the enemy of all professional athletes. I want to look younger. He called his dad this morning back in Cleveland. Their Sunday morning ritual. He talks to Dad wherever they play.
So does brother Mike, who plays for the Eagles. Earl Leggett, the defensive line coach for Golick and the Raiders. Philcox now 4 for 11, 22 yards. On 3rd and 12. There's a man open, caught by Metcalf, who stumbles at the 47, gets up and brought down at the 49. Eric Metcalf, a big play for the Browns, their biggest of the game, 31 yards. That almost matches their entire total of the first half.
That ball was tipped, and he still catches it, Dick. Absolutely phenomenal concentration. Here's Metcalf. The ball is tipped. Good pass protection this time by the Cleveland Browns. And the Raiders are in a zone. Excellent catch by Eric Metcalf. Big play, keeps the drive alive.
22 yards passing in the first half total for Philcox. He gets 31 on that throw from midfield. Lionel Washington up from his corner to invade the backfield and drop Metcalf.
Invade. Excellent choice of words. You're going to see this projectile come from the left-hand side of the screen. It wears number 48 inside. Oh, that's right in the crosshairs. Between the 2 and the 1, he parked Eric Metcalf.
A loss of 2. It'll be 2nd and 12 for Cleveland. Lionel Washington has a career total of 26 touchdowns, 26 interceptions, a couple for touchdowns, had 5 picks last year, playing the run. Make the horde. Philcox. And it's Washington now on pass defense, breaking up the throw to Jamie Holland. Let's go back to the Metcalf catch to get the Browns out of the hole at the 15.
Metcalf is the man going in motion. You see the pass protection. Excellent job by this maligned offensive line. Philcox steps up. I thought the ball was tipped when actually Philcox just kind of
threw a duck,
ladled it out there, and Metcalf made a heck of a catch on that one.
3rd and 12 again. Metcalf with both touchdowns in the game. Underneath to Hoare, tackled immediately at the 45. That won't be enough. It'll be 5 yards shy of a first down. Aaron Wallace played his ball at Texas A&M. The Aggies unbeaten this year. Made the stop.
Wallace, an excellent coverage linebacker for the Raiders. Not one of the real big linebackers that the Raiders have, but can cover the back out of the backfield, tight end from the line of scrimmage. Very versatile linebacker for the Raiders.
Look who's back to return the punt. Mervyn Fernandez.
Here's Tim Brown.
Brown is hurt or just being given rest. Brown did have a little trouble hanging on to the ball the first half. Hanson's punt. Fernandez lets it drop, and it's covered by the Browns, and it's down at the 4-yard line.
Excellent play by Browns special teams.
40-yard punt. Fernandez hoping the ball would go in the end zone. Randy Baldwin is 23, but it's Jamie Holland, the former Raider, inbounds. So it'll be the Raiders starting from their own 4 when we return.
Why did Hertz invent #1 club goal service? To beat the rush hour. See, every plane and everybody seems to land at once. But with goal service, there's no stopping at the counters and no paperwork. Instead, you go nonstop to your waiting car with your name in lights. Only Hertz has #1 club gold. The best reason yet why Hertz beats the rush hour. To Hertz, the rest of the day is a piece of cake.
For his retirement, Neil McBain had no intention of slowing down. That's why Dean Witter mapped out his financial course with only one goal in mind: victory. Dean Witter.
We measure success, one investor at a time. Oil, the lifeblood of your engine. So the most vital organ is your oil filter. That's why you need Fram Extra Guard. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter. Fram Extra Guard, the best protection ever.
The last thing the average person wants is the average car. That's why the new Mazda brought you the return of the pure sports car, the all-new RX-7, and the return of the Roadster, the Miata. That's why our 626 feels personal, and our MX-6 feels timeless. It's why every Mazda will fulfill its promise in a way no other car can.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Hertz #1 Club Gold. Hertz's fastest service now in more locations coast to coast. By Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right.
Let me use this telestrator. What is that hanging out? Is that a leg or an arm hanging out of Howie Long's jersey? Wow.
In the NFL, they refer to that as a gun.
From the 4-yard line, trailing 14-3. First possession, second half. And it's on the ground to Steve Smith, the fullback from Penn State. He gets about 3. Tim Brown, a pulled hamstring is the word we get from the Raider bench. We don't know if he can return. That's why Fernandez returning the punt. The Raiders have only 4 wide receivers: Fernandez, Brown, Galt, and Grady, and 10 defensive backs. It's an unusual.
I'm surprised, and in fact, Fernandez is on the sideline here. He's not even one of the receivers. The Raiders are going with 2 tight ends. They got Horton and Andrew Glover in there.
Only Gold in motion as the wide receiver. 2nd and 7. Rinovich from his goal line. Whoa! Dangerously close to Clay Matthews, the wily veteran who has an interception already. Gets his hands on that one. Andrew Glover, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Was that another telegraph?
Yes. Again, Dick, when you look from behind Tom Marinovich, I mean, defenses are smart enough to understand that when the quarterback is looking at one spot, you know where he's going. He is staring right where he's going to throw it. You see 87 Glover breaks on top of the linebacker Matthews, a cardinal sin for any receiver. You never break over the top of a defender. You break underneath them. Matthews almost comes up with his 2nd interception of the day.
3rd and 7. Screen. Marcus. Good. And Marcus Allen into the open at the 22. Good call. 15 yards. First down.
If you're going to throw the ball extensively and you're the Los Angeles Raiders, Marcus Allen has got to be in the lineup all the time. Now, this is well disguised, but Marcus Allen has unbelievable sight of the field. The peripheral vision he has is remarkable. He can see guys coming from the side. You got to keep him in the game to throw him the ball. You just don't tell him when he's going to break one.
1 catch to go with his career 422. On first down, Marinovich to Fernandez. That might be and is another first down out to the 34. 13 first downs for the Raiders. That's their total, all passing.
Fernandez, a big receiver, demoted last week. They put Tim Brown in the lineup because they felt that Tim Brown could make more big plays. Fernandez was offended. Had not really played poorly, but they're trying to shake up this Los Angeles Raider football team.
He led the Raiders with the 57 and the 52 catches. Then last year was number 2 with 46. Good hole for Marcus. Slips and slides, always turning that body, working it to the 39-yard line. Doesn't have quite the sprinter speed that he had coming out of Southern California as a Heisman winner. But boy, is he a smart runner.
Yeah, and several years ago, this was the combination. Steve Smith blocking, Marcus Allen carrying. Watch 35. That's on a defensive lineman of in excess of 300 pounds, Bill Johnson, that Steve Smith puts on the ground there.
Second at about 4.5. Raiders have rushed for 47 yards today, a 2.9 average. Delay to Marcus. First down and more. Still, now he steps out of bounds at the 41-yard line of Cleveland. 21 yards.
First rushing first down. Nice little delay. Again, a good lead block by Steve Smith, 35. And the shake and bake by Marcus Allen. Had it for years, still knows how to use it. This is why they got Steve Smith. Watch what happens. Quarterback comes back. Good lead block by Steve Smith. He gets it on Brandon, 58. Just consumes him enough to get Marcus Allen by him. First rushing first down for the Los Angeles Raiders today.
And Marcus Allen has this crowd alive at the Coliseum. 8 minutes to go in the third. Steve Smith, 15 more for the Raiders.
Boy, they caught him. Browns came with a safety blitz. Steve Smith with just a slight cutback. You're going to see the blitz come from the right. That's 22. That's Turner, 29. Just that little stutter step gets him through the line of scrimmage. Well, now they're running it. Now the Browns have to change defensive philosophy.
First down at the 25-yard line. Smith and Marcus Allen in the backfield. Fake to Marcus. Marinovich looking for something big. Not close. And a wise throw to throw that in the ground is Willie Gault. Behind the defense, Turner and Newsome, but didn't want to take a chance. Eric Turner, he grew up in Ventura, California, to the north of Los Angeles, played at UCLA, played 3 games, in fact, on this turf, and this is his birthday. 24 years young for this star player, #1 pick. He played in high school in the CIF Southern Championships, lost that game, had a tie with SC, and lost to USC, so he's in quest of his first win.
Had to get 40 tickets for his family members out here.
He had to put the limit at 40. He said, I know there's more here, but I just had to draw the line. On 2nd and 10. Almost intercepted. There was a birthday present. Turner couldn't pull it in.
That was not a good choice by Todd Marinovich. You're going to see once again, watch Todd Marinovich's eyes. He's looking over here. The defense knows he's looking over here. Not set fundamentally correct to throw the football. Looks like it was intended for 88 Ethan Horton. It looks like there's a lot more learning for the young left-hander for the Los Angeles Raiders before he is compared with one Ken Stabler.
He wore that 12 so magnificently in Raider glory years. There are the numbers on the 23-year-old redhead. 3rd and 10. Caught for a touchdown. Willie Gault. Alfred Jackson on the corner went for the interception. The rest was easy for Gault.
Top of the screen. I can't imagine what Jackson, the little hitch and go, and boy, he makes a fundamental mistake. He looks into that backfield, sees the quarterback. That's awfully easy.
A 96-yard drive. Jaeger adds the extra point. 14-10 on the 25-yard touchdown pass. Marinovich has his first of 1992, and the Raiders are only 4 points down.
Although most human beings instinctively join herds, there are those who simply don't look for safety in numbers. For this rare breed, we introduced the '93 Mazda 626 ES with a V6, an airbag, and ABS. Designed by the new Mazda, a company known for doing things differently. For drivers who feel the same way. The all-new Mazda 626.
Mazda, it just feels right. Yeah, he wants wants to get back to work. Another delay is unacceptable. Yeah, exactly.
Ann Joyce is waging a war
Therapy can't wait.
against the high cost of workers' compensation
On
insurance.
my way to see a supervisor.
She fights for better medical care for injured workers,
He's ready. He's on crutches.
so they get back to work faster.
I'll let him do some phone work on sales.
Perfect.
You'd think she'd be the kind of person who'd make an insurance company nervous.
Good news. You're going back to work.
Actually,
Thanks.
she works for one.
Rust. What it can do to the outside of your car, weak, neglected antifreeze can do to the inside. You need the tough anti-corrosion formula of Prestone. Use fresh Prestone every year to give your radiator and cooling systems heavy-duty rust and corrosion protection. No matter what happens to the outside, Prestone protects the inside. Prestone stops the rust that stops your car.
A noble warrior once advised, be vigilant against unfragrant perspiration. My ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick for maximum wetness protection. The best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
14-10. And Todd Marinovich really golfed that touchdown, stirring the Coliseum crowd. Randy Baldwin getting around the corner and knocked out of bounds at the 28-yard line by the kicker himself, Jeff Jaeger.
Look, here's the matchup right here. Watch the blitz. It puts the Cleveland Browns into single coverage, and frankly, Jackson at the top of the screen. You see both inside out is the way they're sitting. Marinovich throws it high. The cornerback makes a fundamental mistake. Stay with the receiver. Ends up being a very easy reception for a touchdown.
Well, Marinovich on the drive, 53 yards, going 96 total, 25 on the capper to Galt. The 14-0 Cleveland lead has shrunk to 14-10. 6:47 left in the third period. A rare carry by Tommy Vardell. Greg Townsend, the veteran defensive lineman, makes the tackle at the 31-yard line. Vardell, we said in the first half, the donut man, the honor bestowed upon him by the veteran running backs. He has to get donuts every morning on the way to practice. Says, I wake up the baker at 6:30 because these guys can't make up their mind what they want. And I can't just get a bunch of glazed. Horde wants chocolate on chocolate. Metcalf nibbles. Brooks samples. Randy Baldwin frosted twist. Peanuts for Wolfley, the special team star. Kevin Mack, twisted glaze. Does they think my job isn't tough? Wilcox underneath the Holohan at the 35-yard line. It'll be 3 yards shy of a first down. Anthony Bell, acquired from Detroit on Plan B, makes the tackle. Winston Moss not in uniform today. Oh, there's the Browns rushing. Team total 12 rushes, 14 yards. Now the Raiders have stuffed any running game that the Browns thought they had, and Bill Belichick felt that after watching the films of the Cincinnati game that they could run on this Raider defense. Not so. Phil Cox, with the crowd helping out the defense, needs 3 for a first down. Triple left. Ford had the intended receiver, but it's knocked down by Andre Bruce, who's playing a stand-up defensive end position for the Raiders.
One of the reasons Andre Bruce was willing to come here is that the Raiders promised him he would be an all-time rusher. Rush the passer on every single play. Pretty athletic move to get up in the air there. Todd Wilcox didn't do anything to move out of the way of that rush, and now suddenly the Raiders have life, as poorly as they've played.
5:12 left in the third quarter, and Hansen will have to give it up by punt. Irvin Fernandez again is the deep man for the Raiders. Whoa! That was the young rookie Derek Hoskins in near a block, and a poor kick as Hoskins destroyed the concentration of Hansen, a 19-yard punt. Now the Raiders will have it just across their own 45-yard line when we come back.
On September 25th, the legend begins. A man committed to the land.
I thought all our colonial scouts were in the militia.
I ain't your scout. I sure ain't in no damn militia.
A woman who invades his heart.
What are you looking at, sir?
I'm looking at you, miss.
Caught between empires at war. Their love refuses to surrender.
Why didn't you leave when you had the chance?
Because what I'm interested in is right here.
Stay alive, no matter what occurs. I will find you. No matter how long it takes, no matter how far. I will find you.
Academy Award winner Daniel Day-Lewis and Madeline Stowe. The Last of the Mohicans. Rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Once in a great while, a car comes along with such timeless beauty, such intrepid performance, you can't help but make predictions. What do you do when you think something is destined to be a collector's item? You put one away for safekeeping. The new MX-6 from the new Mazda.
Mazda, it just feels right.
Then again, who can wait that long?
On the season premiere of Law and Order, a pornographer's murdered. Stone wants a conviction, but a mother and daughter want revenge. Law and Order premieres NBC Wednesday.
14-10, Cleveland's lead with 5:05 left in the third, but the Raiders have the ball just across their own 45-yard line, and apparently there's a rumor floating around that they played Bob Trumpy's comments in the Raider locker room about not running the ball at halftime, so they came out 43 yards with Marcus Allen on their first drive of the second half. And here's Marinovich going to work deep down the middle. Wide open is Grady, and Grady with that great speed is out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Barry Wilburn saved a touchdown.
Come on, who are these guys really? Are they the same guys that went in at halftime? Crossing pattern by Grady. You can see it's cleared out by Willie Gault, two of the fastest players you'll find in the NFL. Boy, Art Shell pulled out his commitment to excellent speech at halftime, and it's sunk in to this point.
They bring the ball in, spotted at the 6-yard line, first and goal as the Raiders look for the lead. Marcus Allen, he knows the way to the end zone, but he fumbles the ball, and who's got it? Eric Turner on his birthday may have made a terrible mistake going for the scoop and the touchdown had he been able to pick it up, but instead didn't get the ball. Does his teammate cover his play? Still no official signal. A lot of changing of possession goes on underneath those pylons.
Yes.
You can imagine.
The strongest guy usually comes up with the fumble recovery. Raiders keep it, and Dick, you are absolutely right. Eric Turner, he is trying to make a huge play as opposed to just trying to pick the ball up. Matthews is the guy who appears to strip it away from Marcus Allen. Ball loose right there.
Well, that's a veteran's play.
But now watch Eric Turner, 29. There you saw him just go by. Instead of flopping on the football, he tries to pick it up. Ethan Horton comes up with a recovery, and the Raiders maintain possession.
Even though it looked like David Brandon had pretty good position, it's second and goal. Raiders escape the turnover. Now Marinovich. It's like a schoolyard play. That hit, and the ball is free again, and they call it incomplete. Eric Turner, now that is the kind of hitting that he's been doing in the secondary for the Browns as he jars Steve Smith loose from that potential catch.
Yeah, when you rock a hitter, you have really made a hit. Turner, 29, the collision on Steve Smith.
Almost came out in the air for the turnover for the Browns. So it's third and goal at the 12. Turner, who suffered a fracture last year that took him out of half of the Browns games, a stress fracture in the leg. He lost 8 games. Thigh. Fumble. But Marinovich comes out of it with the ball. Oh. I don't know what they're going to call that. A forward pass, I believe, and that would just be an incomplete pass.
He did that with his right hand, too. This kid's looking more and more like Ken Stapler every minute.
And he's injured on the play. An artist is Marinovich. No, I guess he's okay. He acted as though he might have been nicked, and Davis held Davis with a deep breath of air with 3:28 left in the third. Remember that Stabler shovel pass in the playoffs, and that continuing fumble that finally wound up for a touchdown against San Diego.
It's a Banaszak. Casper rolled it about 20 yards, and they wrote about 5 rules prohibiting that.
Holy roller rule. Jeff Jaeger to try the field goal as the Browns deny the touchdown. Another 30-yard attempt by Jaeger, who hit the right upright from this distance in the first half. And he's found the middle now, and the Raiders are within 1 with 3:23 remaining in the third.
This is our vision of what a luxury sedan should be. Not because it offers rich leather and anti-lock brakes, but because it comes standard with an airbag on the driver's side and the passenger side as well, creating a luxury sedan where even peace of mind is shared. The new 929, the first luxury sedan from the new Mazda.
It just feels right.
How much insulation do you have in your attic? 3 inches? 6 inches? Well, the Department of Energy recommends R38 for most American homes, which is equivalent to a foot of Owens Corning pink fiberglass. So grab a ruler and measure your attic insulation. Then get rolling. And get a foothold on your energy bills. For more information, call 1-800-GET-PINK.
It isn't the night or even the fog that gets you. It's when the team leader puts you in charge for the first time. And you decide to drop right inside Alpha Team's backyard. That's when you find out how good you really are.
Well, Mr. Enberg, I am the rookie in this group. I took the lead from Tommy Vardell. Have I hit your fancy with any one of these flavors?
How did you know Sunday morning, and it's a tradition, I go and get donuts, and let's see what you got.
Glazed twist. I got a couple of cupcakes.
Hey, come on.
What do you want?
Cinnamon. I like cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon.
Can't you get it right? Cinnamon.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Cinnamon. There's Vardell. He could have done it for me. 14-13. Metcalf at the 5. Has a little opening. No, that's Randy Baldwin out to the 31. Metcalf was returned a couple of kicks for touchdowns, and with that kind of open field, that could have been scary for the Raiders. To the 31, 14-13. The Browns lead the Raiders, and next Saturday will be another Notre Dame Saturday. Irish victorious yesterday against Michigan State. Rick Meyer and company go against intrastate rival Purdue. Coverage kicks off at 1 o'clock Eastern. Notre Dame Saturday on NBC. Goodness. That 14-0 lead has been shaved to 1. Bill Cox on first down, and he hits Metcalf in the open. Can anyone catch him? 79-yard touchdown.
Wait a minute.
69 yards for Metcalf.
They did it out of formation, Dick. Look at Art Shell. What is going on? Metcalf out there as the flanker. Ronnie Lott, 42, is out there on the bump and run. Somebody makes a huge error in coverage. And Metcalf, his third touchdown of the day. Excuse me, third touchdown of the day.
2 of them receiving.
Yeah. 4 catches, 114 yards, 69 yards. Goodness.
The hat trick for Metcalf. And now Stover, important extra point, gives Cleveland the 8-point lead, 21-13. Todd Philcox has thrown his first NFL touchdown pass today, and this is a number 2, a big one.
A top fuel engine is really stressed when you can achieve 2,000 degrees in exhaust gas temperatures in 4 seconds. It brutalizes the oil. It literally tries to boil it. But Pennzoil has always stood up to that test. It's not only in the race car, it's in all of our street cars, it's in our 18-wheeler, it's in our boat at home, it's in our air compressors, and it's in our generators. And I feel very good about knowing that Pennzoil is in there doing the best job possible for us. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
A better way to catch your Z's is on Sealy's Posturepedic Sleep System. Designed to conform to your shape, distribute your weight evenly, comfortably. Only Sealy Posturepedic has it. So for a better night's sleep, better sleep on a Sealy.
Right now, get up to a $75 rebate direct from Sealy.
Dean Witter believes every investor's success story is unique. From getting in on the ground floor to getting all the way to the top, Dean Witter can help you make it every step of the way.
We measure success one investor at a time.
One oil filter traps 80% more dirt than the leading competitor. Clearly, that's Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Dick, they got Ronnie Lott out here. There are several coverage mistakes. Watch Anthony Bell as Metcalf runs the little slant in. The safety also rotates away from it. When he makes the catch, I mean, he's in line with the deepest Los Angeles Raider. A huge mistake in coverage by the Los Angeles Raiders results in a 69-yard score. The Browns don't mind the Raiders making those kind of mistakes.
3 scores for Metcalf, 2 receiving. Philcox 69 yards on that pass. He had a total of 66 yards passing in the entire game prior to that play. Stover roots it deep, and Dan Land and Sam Grady surrounded. Hey, did Martin Mull get out? There he comes. Now, I'll tell you what, there's got to be the highest paid tee retriever in the NFL. Martin Mull donating all of his salary today to his favorite charity.
You know, he does it with a certain panache, though. You know, the Mojo guy down in Houston, he didn't go out there and roll around. I do this a lot. I get that deal. That's no big deal. Just going to run out there a little bit.
At the Raiders score, though, we got to give Run his.
Yes, that's true.
21-13. Eric Metcalf with all 3 Browns touchdowns. And now Marinovich with 2:56 left in the third period goes back to work. The offense seems revived, and there's one of the reasons. Marcus Allen using his blockers so well, and out of bounds after an 8-yard pickup.
Well, they've certainly found a productive combination here. Steve Smith and Marcus Allen. It's one that Raider fans have certainly seen in past years. Beginning of the game, it was Eric Dickerson and Steve Smith. We've not seen Eric Dickerson back on the field in the second half. There's Dickerson resting comfortably on the sideline.
He hasn't been in the game since 2:41 left in the first quarter. He didn't look that effective. He's not injured.
That's a bad sign for a man of his age, gaining those yards for this team.
So Marcus Allen, who is also 32, takes over. And number 32 has a first down as he rips off 13 more. Vince Newsom made the tackle.
Again, great running backs seem to have the ability to glide. And Marcus Allen, I think, is one of the game's best gliders. Again, a nice lead block by 35. Steve Smith puts his head down. Newsom, 22, finally gets him down. I think Marcus Allen is making a point here.
Taken out after that tackle. And it's not Eric Dickerson that comes in, but Nick Bell. And first down. With protection. Into the flat to Bell. And he drives to the 49-yard line, a gain of 6. Clay Matthews, the tackler, along with Mike Johnson. Todd Marinovich in Art Shell. This perhaps the start of the Raider new generation. They figure that this is going to be the quarterback for the next 10 years. He's 20 for 33 today. He's just 29 yards shy of a 300-yard game, a touchdown and an interception. David Brandon looked to be the left shoulder that he injured while making that tackle. Marinovich is an artist as well, isn't he?
Don't confuse this with Mel Gibson, the snake.
And he's that's just one of many. He said, I want to draw all the great quarterbacks. I started with Blanda. We asked him, well, just bring us an example of your artwork. And so this is Stabler, and he's currently sketching Joe Namath. He's going to work his way through all the great quarterbacks and hopefully finish with one of his own self-portrait. In fact, his artwork, we saw that last year. Remember, around playoff time, he hadn't been playing, so he doodled with a pirate on his own helmet. Little
that may speak volumes to Todd Marinovich. He put sunglasses on the pirate, a little bit of a beard. He is a free spirit.
Yeah, you can underline that. I mean, he came in to talk with us yesterday, and Tim Brown was there, and came in like a bored kid in the schoolroom. He came in, put his head on the desk, on his arm. Said, hey, come on. You know you're going to pass my class with that attitude. He just almost fell asleep during the interview. He wanted to go out and surf. Steve Smith for a couple up the middle.
He does look like, when I read Tom Sawyer, the first time I saw Todd Marinovich, I said, that's not Todd Marinovich, that's Huck Finn. Come on, I can see that guy going down the mighty Missouri.
On a surfboard.
On a surfboard, yes, you got that right.
And he's got work to do now in the final seconds of the third quarter. Trailing 21-13. He had rallied his club to within one, and certainly the offense more productive here in the second half. Fell in motion. On third down. Marinovich dragged down and throws it away, and that'll cost him a penalty. Bill Johnson, the rookie from Michigan State, was the man who was putting pressure from the backside. That'll go loss of down with the penalty. The harshest of all flags.
Referee is the only official on the field that can call intentional grounding. Bernie Kukar did. Marinovich is complaining, but the rule states if you throw the ball away to avoid a sack, it makes no difference where you're throwing it.
So Jeff Gossett will come in to punt, and big Bill Johnson, the 305-pound rookie from Michigan State, the Browns' third draft pick this spring, makes a big play. 17 seconds left in this third period. Metcalf at his 15. What a day for him. Papa Terry, a great player, Pro Bowl player. Into the sidelines from the 5. Metcalf took a bit of a gamble. Oh, almost broke it down the sidelines. Tripped up, and a flag goes down at the 19-yard line.
Dick, the Cleveland Browns have been waiting for an outburst like this from Eric Metcalf for a number of years. They know he's got the talent. They've just not been able to really get it going in the right direction. Nagging injuries, learning a new offense.
Elvis Patterson, the Pro Bowl star on special teams for the Raiders, is the man injured. Elvis
an illegal block in the back. Number 87 on the return team. On the return, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Jamie Holland, a former Raider, with the penalty. A reminder, next Sunday, here's our lineup. It's a doubleheader on NBC starting at 12:30. Denver and Cleveland. With all that rivalry, Buffalo, New England. New England defeated the Bills last year. Buffalo certainly won a lot of new favor with their big victory against the Niners last Sunday. San Diego, Houston. How about those late games?
Pittsburgh is playing very well. Green Bay beats Cincinnati today. Jets 0-3. Miami, Seattle. Miami playing just their second game of the season.
So all ahead next week is Patterson in pain as he comes to the Raiders bench. Told us yesterday at practice he had this scheme that would foil the opposition. He wanted to trade jersey numbers right before the game with any other Raider so they wouldn't know who he was. And Lopez, the Raiders, said, I don't think you can do that, Elvis.
What about the name on the back?
That was part of the problem. Final seconds, third quarter, and we'll return to Los Angeles after these messages from your local station.
One step into this paradise will be your last. Kathy Ireland, Danger Island, NBC Tonight.
Time is running out on the best deals of the year at your Northeast Ohio Ford dealer, including Ford F-Series, the best-selling vehicle in the world. In fact, 5 of the 10 best sellers in America are Ford. Buy now and get $1,000 cash back on F-Series trucks with a more comfortable interior, a sleek new exterior, and now $1,000 cash back. But time is running out fast. Get big savings on the #1 truck in the world. No wonder your Ford dealers are winning Ohio over.
What do you feel like this morning? Feel fresh? Feel flaky? Are you feeling perky? Sweet? Light on your feet? Do you feel macho? Bueno? Cool? Hot? Or do you feel like falling back to sleep? Whether you feel laid back or ready to roll, you can feel good about breakfast at McDonald's. All the taste you want at a price that'll make you feel even better. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Teamwork is the key to success in banking, striving toward a common goal.
Hold it. Are they kidding? At Society, we understand that to grow, you need answers. Answers like Society's Purchase Planner Equity Line, the only flexible line of credit that lets you control your payment schedule. That's just one way we're ready to help you with your financial growth. Give us a call. Society, where to grow.
Jim Donovan on sports, weeknights on Channel 3 News.
Well, the report from the Raider bench is that Elvis Patterson bruised his buttocks. So can't be too serious because of the position he now presents. Why'd I get myself? That's supposed to be your area, the injury area.
Maybe that's treatment. We don't know.
From the 12-yard line after the penalty. 21-13, open the fourth quarter. The Browns in the lead. And incomplete for Pete Holohan from sunny Los Angeles to the studios in New York. NFL Live, here's Bob Costas.
I must compliment you, Dick, on your astute diagnosis of Patterson's condition. In the meantime, no one diagnoses what Neil O'Donnell is up to here. The fake into the line and then the bootleg around the left side for the 1-yard touchdown, and Pittsburgh widens its lead at San Diego. 20-6. Back to Dr. Enberg and Mr. Trumpy.
All right, Robert. There's another line there, but we're not going to use it. 21-13, Cleveland, and the Steelers trying to go 3-0. And this another surprise at work as Wilcox in his own end zone, and he gets it off. Oh, what a desperation throw. He avoids the safety, completes a short pass to Leroy Horde out to the 14-yard line. The punting team comes on.
With an 8-point lead, you can see Belichick over there aging 20 years when he backs into the end zone. That's Andre Bruce. He does get it away, makes the completion to Leroy Horde, and I'm sure Gary Tranquill, Belichick, don't do that again.
40-year-old Belichick was the youngest coach in the league last year, and just 1 year later, he's the second oldest in just the AFC Central. They come after the kicker, but Hansen gets away a perfect spiral. Floating down to Fernandez, takes a Browns bounce out of bounds at about the 41-yard line of Los Angeles. 45 yards. No return for Hansen. Tonight it's an all-new Secret Service based on actual cases on NBC. An undercover agent tempted by the woman he's trying to bust. Then on an all-new eyewitness video, see an incredible footage. A woman surviving a whale attack, followed by NBC world premiere movie starring Kathy Ireland. Danger Island tonight on NBC. Bob Golick, the former Brown, first time he's played against his Cleveland teammates. Wait, not too many teammates left. In fact, what, in the last 2 years, only 11 men that played 2 years ago in Cleveland are still on the roster.
Ritzes.
And Allen perhaps trying to run before he caught the ball, and that one was set up.
Yep. 2 linemen in front of him. The Browns come with a safety blitz. Vince Newsom was almost in the face You'll see the blitz coming from the left-hand side, and Dick, I think you're right. They also run a twist with it. Allen just starting to turn upfield, takes his eye away. That would have gone for a long way.
That's the kind of pass they feel Marinovich will really be very effective with. He's quick and accurate, and that one was a little off the fingertips, but they usually lead his receiver on those short flares and screens. This one downfield, and it's almost intercepted. Well covered by Barry Wilburn. Wilburn, interesting story. The former Redskin who did not play the last 2 years. He had Achilles with the Redskins. Everyone felt he might be out of football. And much like Bavaro, Belichick remembered him as a top NFC Eastern defender. Wilburn, he led the league in interceptions 5 years ago with 9. And here he is starting at the corner today for Cleveland.
Very tall for a defensive back, especially the corner. 6'3". You don't find many corners that big. Mel Blount may have been 6'3", but there aren't many that size.
Marinovich under pressure, and it's too tall for Fernandez on the sidelines.
Pass is incomplete, intended for Herbert Fernandez.
In on top of the quarterback Anthony Pleasant, the defensive end, number 98 from Tennessee State.
Well, this has been agony for both of these head coaches. You see 98, nice inside move. Just seeing the way both of these teams have struggled for Belichick's team, and big plays, turnovers by the Raiders, and then the big catch by Metcalf. And the Raiders have been so sporadic. One good drive the entire day.
3 passes, all incomplete. And Jeff Gossett into punt again. Short kick, fair catch. Metcalf at the 21-yard line. So with just a minute 4 seconds gone in the fourth, a timeout.
This Heisman moment is brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, makers of a full line of quality cars and trucks. Jay Berwanger was nothing short of spectacular at the University of Chicago. He's called a one-man team, and there didn't seem to be anything he couldn't do. In 1935, Berwanger received the first Downtown Athletic Club trophy. A year later, this prestigious award would become known as the Heisman Trophy.
Eclipse, noun. The motion of one heavenly body passing in front of another. An eclipse occurs only with the perfect alignment of arcs and curves and angles. Eclipse, verb. To surpass. To cast in shadow. To leave others behind. The stunning Eclipse from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
Castrol GTX is the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. This is the only way to get that kind of performance from any other leading brand. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
It's the Domino's Pizza NFL Spectacular. What are these guys into? Piling it on. And if you're into piling it on, get a Domino's medium with unlimited toppings now, just $8.99. And pile it on.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying our unlimited toppings pizza deal when the game is over.
With Bob Trumpy, Dick Enberg, welcome back to the Coliseum with 13:56 left in the fourth quarter. The Cleveland Browns with the lead and the ball. The offense today, the Browns only 33 plays to the Raiders 61. Raiders outgaining their opponents almost 2-1 at 2-1. But Cleveland leads 21-13. 2 first quarter turnovers deep in Raider territory turned into Browns touchdowns. Michael Jackson in motion, isn't he? And it's James Brooks, his first big run of the game, 13 yards. That's the Brooks that fans in Bengal territory cheered for so many years.
Just 180 pounds. Eddie Anderson makes the tackle. Interesting call here. You see the motion, and then the right guard pulls and leads James Brooks up through there. Again, Bardell, another lead block by number 44. They capture the corner. See Bardell slam into Anthony Bell.
And the tackle made by the cousin. Brooks and Anderson are cousins from down in Georgia. First down run of 13. Brooks again. Right into the arms of 3 Raiders. Ricky Ellison and Anthony Bell. 2 backers waiting for Brooks after a short gain of a couple. The Raiders have lost 6 straight games, including 1 playoff last year. They start 0-2 this year. They have only been 0-3 in the last 28 years 1 time, and that was 6 years ago. And they finished that year from 0-3 to 8-8. But it was because of the 0-2 that Jay Schrader is on the bench and Todd Marinovich starts today. Second down, a long 7. Career carry for the rookie Vardell, and he just does get back to the line of scrimmage. One of the reasons they liked Vardell, he rarely lost yardage at Stanford. In fact, he lost 17 yards his whole career, and he didn't fumble once in 4 years. Is that amazing?
Yeah, that is playing in the Pac-10. There's some big hitting teams in the Pac-10. That is a remarkable feat. The problem with a guy like Vardell is he is best shoulders squared up the hash marks. You get a big guy running sideways, he's generally not going to have much effect on a defense.
His number called only 3 times today and has a total of 8 yards. Third down, 7. Metcalf in motion. He's been the star for the Browns.
Boy, he's open.
And he's got it again. If he stays on his feet, might go all the way. Is it 4? Touchdown! 63 yards. What a day for Eric Metcalf. A career game.
Goodness. He puts a heck of a move on the defender trying to cover him. He turns up the field, gets inside the defensive back. 46, Torin Doran. Great move, and then outruns Ronnie Lott.
Lott got almost a piece of the heel, but couldn't bring him down.
What a day for Eric Metcalf.
Try for point by Stover. And the Browns lead 28-13. Eric Metcalf 69 yards and then 63 yards from Todd Philcox. What a new combination. Philcox to Metcalf.
Have you ever thought about wearing shoes?
Mitsubishi believes that a luxury car should offer something beyond the usual luxuries. It may be extraordinary power and control, a consummate blend of comfort and performance, or a state-of-the-art four-wheel drive system. The 3000 GT, the Diamante, the Montero. Lease the luxury car of your choice. Only $399 a month for 36 months. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Why do you get great service from a MetLife rep? He's got terrific follow-through, answering tough questions. He's fast when it comes to paying claims. He's got lots of drive and power. And he makes neat saves when the going gets rough. It all adds up to Advantage, MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. By Radio Shack, America's technology store nobody compares. And by Delta Airlines. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
The Browns kick it off, and another long, booming kickoff by Jeff Stover. He'll take it at the 20-yard line. Eric Metcalf with his 4th touchdown.
Here he comes in motion. Here's Torin Doran in coverage. The move takes place right here. It is a world-class move on a defensive back. You can see also that the quarterback is locked. Watch the move right there. And now here's Ronnie Lott. He doesn't quite, he's not able to catch up with Eric Metcalf. What a day for number 21.
And if you're wondering if that's a Cleveland record, of course, you longtime Browns fans know it is not. And 2 big names are ahead of Metcalf's 4 touchdowns in a game. Share that with you right after this play by Marinovich, who looks for Allen. No, Allen wasn't looking for him. That one was almost a Barry Wilburn. As you watch Metcalf's touchdown, the only man in Cleveland Browns history to score more touchdowns in a game, Dub Jones. He had 6, remember, against the Bears back in '51, and the great Jim Brown had 5 against the Colts in 1959, and Metcalf with 4 today against the Raiders. The last 2 long distance. That one 63. He had one 69 yards in the 3rd quarter, and he just showed you the move. Dub Jones and Jim Brown. Marinovich hit from behind right at the line of scrimmage. If they call that a sack, it'll be the 4th, and Clay Matthews, former Southern California All-America, celebrating a big day, and this is 203rd game.
He's now becoming a pass rusher for the Cleveland Browns because of some injuries to Michael Dean Perry. Catches Todd Marinovich from behind.
But isn't that effort typical of his play in the league? And just as he's lasted 15 consecutive years, a Browns record for him, persevering through that whole play and then making the tackle.
Yeah, he still looks very, very young and plays very, very young.
3rd and 10. Marinovich escapes. And he's right at the yardsticks, hit at the 30-yard line. Well, Rob Burnett crying for a holding penalty. Number 90 still appealing. It's right on the 30, so that's 1st down.
The only problem is you're not going to win this football game down 28-13 with your quarterback running the ball.
Yeah, they need 3 scores, and 2 of them big ones.
Yep. Right now, I think the Raiders bench is in shock. Cleveland comes in here without Bernie Kosar, without Kevin Mack, without Webster Slaughter, without Michael Dean Perry. They kind of looked at this team as an easy pickings team, and look what's happened.
Marcus Allen chopped down after a 4-yard gain. Stephon Moore coming up from the secondary to make a good low tackle.
You know, some of the Browns people told us, you know, they were going to rally around Todd Philcox. He's done an excellent job. He's not made the big mistake. That's the best thing he's done today.
Incomplete. Over the top, Sam Grady. Now Marinovich, who's had hot and cold spells throughout, but they've put some pressure on it. Sacked 4 times.
Good numbers, but he's made some inexperienced mistakes. He's locked onto receivers. He's run the ball when he should have thrown it. Are you
saying that they made the move too soon? Should have given him another whole year to kind of watch Schrader? You're not saying that.
I think they alleviated a lot of pressure from Jay Schrader. Now when he comes back in, Jay Schrader, he can do nothing wrong. Yeah.
Allen makes a good move, eluding the linebacker, has a 1st down, and finally knocked out of bounds in midfield by Randy Hilliard. If Jay Schrader has a career game, 380 yards, 3rd most in Raider history. That surprises you that with all the great passes and passing games that Schrader would be number 3 best ever on the road. And his bench, there are the numbers from the Cincinnati game a week ago. But as Archell pointed out, who is a bigger hero on any team in any year than the 2nd string quarterback?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone always loves him.
Sure. And the other point you got to make is that Archell told us this is not musical quarterbacks. Marinovich is my starter. My point coming into this game, the problem with this team is not its quarterback.
This time to Ethan Horton, and the tight end, former running back at North Carolina, shows that skill to the 41, just shy of a 1st down. It'll bring up 2nd and 1. Richard Brown made the tackle.
It's going slowly, though, and time is ticking away.
8.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
One guy being replaced in the lineup has not fixed the Los Angeles Raiders' problems today.
Mirovic swings it out to Marcus. Caught by an ankle and dropped at the 40. Be close to a first down, but he stays inbounds, and the clock will now move. Before the next play, they'll be under 8 minutes. Now, one thing that Marinovic does not have is that arm that throws the bomb. And of course Schrader does. He can strike from 50 yards and throw the ball on the line. Marinovic can hang it out there and to get it 50 yards, but he can't rifle it.
He'd rather throw it underneath. He'd rather get it to Marcus Allen, have him break a tackle. We're looking at the Raiders being 0-3 and going to Kansas City next week.
Monday night game a week from tomorrow night. Allen just shy of a first down, third and that much.
Just short of the first down,
second and that much.
I see Todd Marinovich, in my estimation, is in the same situation that Jay Schrader was last week. Good numbers, great numbers for Todd Marinovich, but they didn't win.
Thrown for 300 yards today. Jay Schrader 380 last week. Well, it's been interesting. Eric Dickerson obviously has been benched today. Nick Bell got his try, and reluctantly Marcus Allen, I mean, he's been in the doghouse, goes in, and he has been the best performer of the three. He produces.
He keeps emerging, doesn't he?
Third and inches. The quick. Oh no! Marcus Allen. And he's pointing to someone else as if he thought the throw should go. The read was go somewhere else, and Allen handcuffed by the throw, almost like a catcher crossed up by a pitcher. He was looking curveball, and Marchell has to go for it now at the Browns 40-yard line, 4th and inches.
I have a feeling Archell is already thinking about what to tell this team when this football game is over. This next week, with the change in quarterback, Tim Brown stepping up, Marvin Fernandez sitting down, another loss. Maybe the most important week in the Raiders' history here.
Marcus Allen, you knew he wanted the ball. I bet knowing Marcus Allen, he said, hey, could give it to me. Let's get this first down after I dropped that last pass. Let's go back to business.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the doghouse. I wonder whose doghouse it is. Art Shell and Marcus Allen were teammates. I can't believe that Marcus Allen is in Art Shell's doghouse. Art Shell knows how valuable he is.
And how well liked he is and respected by the Raider teammates. And first down. Marinovich can't unload. Rob Burnett from Syracuse. A big day for the Orangemen. The quarterback Todd Philcox and Rob Burnett, also an ex-Syracuse player.
5th sack for the Cleveland Browns. I think everyone expected, with the Browns' problems with pass protection, they'd be the one maybe with 5 sacks. Burnett with an excellent move right around the veteran White.
Intercepted. Vince Newsom takes it away from David Jones. And Newsom, a former Los Angeles Ram, hurdles out to the 43-yard line. The 4th turnover by the Raiders today. Their 12th in 3 games, and a flag is down. Marinovich disconsolate, and a personal foul against the Raiders tacked on to the return by Newsom.
Personal foul, number 76, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Steve Wisniewski.
Marinovich showing his anger from behind the defense again. Marinovich is trying to make the big play. Overthrows the intended receiver Jones, who was a wideout with San Diego, now converted to a tight end. Another poor choice. I mean, the ball was thrown into coverage. And who's not going to be starting next week for the Los Angeles Raiders?
28-13. The Cleveland Browns, meanwhile, enjoying their trip west as they're just 6 minutes 53 seconds from their initial win of the year. Leroy Horde for only a yard. Bill Belichick, who took a team that won only 3 games 2 years ago, took them to 6-10 last year, and 6 losses were by a total of 17 points. So he really brought the team back, and you had the feeling that maybe the expectations too high, that everyone this year expected, well, those will be automatic wins this year, those 6, and we'll be 12-4. It isn't quite that easy.
No, not quite. But, you know, I must make the point on Belichick. If you won games for hours spent a week in preparation, this guy would be undefeated, Belichick. I don't know any coach in the NFL who spends more time watching film and dissecting an opponent.
And there's a considerable number of all-nighters.
Yes,
a lot of coaches sleep at work, Joe Gibbs being one of them. Go pass to Horde. And Ronnie Lott there looking for the run, able to make the tackle at the line of scrimmage, and the clock runs under the 6-minute mark, and time called here by the Raiders. 5:59 to go. The Browns lead by 2 touchdowns plus.
Whatever happened to clear investment signals? Real returns can improve while interest rates decline. Consumer spending can increase even as consumer confidence slips. In these dizzying times, it pays to hire an investment firm with a sure sense of balance. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Only Delta gives you more flights from over here to over there. Only Delta flies you non-stop to more cities from over here to over there. In fact, only Delta flies you non-stop to more cities in Europe than all these airlines combined. Delta, we love to fly, and it shows the world over.
Eclipse. Noun. The motion of one heavenly body passing in front of another. An eclipse occurs only with the perfect alignment of arcs and curves and angles. Eclipse. Verb. To surpass. To cast in shadow. To leave others behind. The stunning eclipse from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
Next Saturday, the intensity will reach the boiling point as the Purdue Boilermakers battle their upstate rivals, the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
Marcus Allen doing what he can, but not enough as the Raiders. That's an ugly statistic, and many coaches, and boy, Marty Schottenheimer says, just look at that column first, and I'll tell you if we're winning or losing. -9 in the turnover table for the Raiders, in part 4-0 today. And the Browns, and as you've made a good point, 200 yards passing for Phil Cox, but more importantly, he's not made the mistake of giving it up on an interception. And Horde, Raiders looking for that, spend their second timeout. Howie Long there. So one timeout left, 5:54 to go. And 4th and 12, the Browns will punt. Eric Metcalf, you think he'll get some votes for the AFC Player of the Week? And what's his license plate?
Too fast for you, but he used to have a car a couple of years ago, and the number was 20 Wonderful.
He had to change that because it wasn't all that wonderful.
It wasn't, you're right.
But it has been today. This is what they were drafting for as a #1 pick, and traded drafts to move up to get Metcalf in the '89 go-round. Next Sunday, it'll be Denver and Cleveland. Elway back in Cleveland Stadium, and that alone will fire up the Browns. Steelers, I mean, 3-0. Is that
Bill Cowher?
Cowher power in Pittsburgh?
It's amazing. I mean, that Chuck Noll, after 26 or 36 or 106 years there as a head coach, Cowher comes in and changes their person. Barry Foster is going nuts. Can't wait for next weekend.
We don't have that game. I don't want to.
Oh.
But NBC does. We'll be at Anaheim for the Rams. Brown's just going to take the 5-yard penalty here.
I'm telling you now.
Now, you mentioned Eric Metcalf and his performance. When they drafted Eric Metcalf, they being the Cleveland Browns, they were looking for a guy like James Brooks. Cincinnati at that time was using James Brooks, and they wanted to incorporate Eric Metcalf into their offense, and that's why they traded up for him.
Coming into this game this year, in 2 games, he had only 5 catches, no touchdowns, 3 carries, no touchdowns. Big 4 today. Hansen Hits it right on the goal line. Did it go in the end zone?
Yes,
Did it break the plane? Yes, it did.
Ball is down.
Yeah, touchback.
Some of the fans for Cleveland cheering that as down at the 1, but it did touch the goal line. That's interesting. Comes out so evenly. Marinovich, and we're not rounding off numbers, folks. 300 yards, and Phil Cox 200 yards.
Well, the Raiders certainly helped Phil Cox get off to a great start. I mean, they had the ball at like the 13 and the 9 in their first 2 drives.
Only one hurry against the 26-year-old Phil Cox. It was a Plan B pick last year by Cleveland off the Cincinnati roster. Big, deep voice. His voice is lower than yours. Hope he stays out of broadcasting.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the start of something better for him on the field, huh?
He's a threat to me, not to you, sir.
Marinovich to the sidelines. And Grady trying to come back for the ball, and they're going to rule that a catch at the 29-yard line.
Grady got the wind knocked out of him. I think he landed right on the football. In previous seasons, that catch would be reviewable. At this point, I'd just as soon they hurry the game along.
That's right. And the other hand, it actually works against the Raiders' short game. The clock keeps running. That's right. 4 for Metcalf. Marinovich underneath Marcus Allen. Cleveland defense giving that play, and Allen gets all he can to the 39. Pick up of about 10 more. Down to the 4s goes that clock.
The Cleveland fans have seen this defense. This is the defense that Dan Marino, this prevent defense that Dan Marino went right down the field on him last week to have that game-winning drive.
First down. There's a big play. Goes to David Jones. Jones from Delaware State. Plan B pickup from the Chargers. 25 yards on his first NFL catch. Eric Turner made the tackle at the 35 of Cleveland. 4:28 left in this game. 28-13. Cleveland leads it. 4-man rush. They've been using only 3. To Ethan Horton. He got out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Stops the clock at 4:13.
I'd say Marinovich is going to approach 400 yards passing here today. So on 350, he's getting there. Now Art Shell has got a huge dilemma.
Does he really? I mean, he told us it's going to be Marinovich.
But yeah, that's not the problem with this team. The quarterback is fine. The rest of the people, I think, have to play better around Todd Marinovich or Jay Schrader. They have to fix the running game. They have to be more aggressive at the line of scrimmage. This is not the Los Angeles Raider football team that I think you and I are used to seeing. This is now a finesse football team on offense. The Raiders are.
That eyes in the back of your head move by Marcus Allen to get to the 22-yard line. Well, and even the 2 easy scores for the Browns from turnovers in the first quarter, you even throw those out, and the Browns are ahead 14-13 with a quarterback starting his first NFL game. Marinovich, by contrast, an experienced signal caller. Lots of time. Someone should be open, and it's batted down by David Brandon. Clock stopped. 3:38 to go. That ends a string of 5 straight completed passes for Todd Marinovich.
Looking to the sideline for the play from Terry Robisky. Of course, the Cleveland Browns are going to be very, very loose in coverage here, hoping the clock eats up the Los Angeles Raiders drive. They'll certainly give them 7 points. We've got some excitement left in this game. If they get it in the end zone here, onside kick, something strange can happen.
There's a screen to Allen, and read very well. Right there, not moving, was number 94, Bill Johnson. So this rookie, former Spartan at Michigan State, staying at home and using his head. And when you say use your head, you're using a big head. He wears an 8 3/8 helmet. Do they make him any bigger?
No, next biggest size is a Gatorade bucket. That's all that's left.
Biggest in the league. Marinovich on 3rd down. And it's to the 13 where Eric Turner decks Sam Grady. First, well, it'll be close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it. Yes, first down.
Turner will hit you from anywhere, from behind the defense. Let's see if we can hear the contact.
Make the crowd yell louder, that's for sure.
That never works. That never works.
Marinovich. And Marcus Allen trying for the ball. He could see out of the corner of his eye Richard Brown right there. Had he caught the ball, it would have cost the Raiders time, and unlikely he would have been able to pick up much yardage. Flag is down.
It's against the Raiders, too.
And Reggie McElroy, the former New York Jet, not too happy.
Holding number 77 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Miami Dolphins have gone 2-0 as they beat the Rams today 26-10. Dallas is 3-0 if they can last it out against Phoenix. They're up 31-20. Pittsburgh leads 23-6 in the fourth quarter on their way to a 3-0 start. And we have a timeout, 2:35 to go.
Radio Shack is America's #1 electronics store. And with more than 80 antennas and hundreds of accessories, Radio Shack is America's #1 antenna store, too. When you buy a Super Color Special TV antenna, Radio Shack has everything you need to make installation easy. Super Color's advanced technology gives you the clearest picture and sound possible.
Hey, great picture, huh, Howie?
Two great antenna values starting at only $24.88, just in time for football. Nobody compares to Radio Shack, America's technology store.
2:35 left, and the Cleveland Browns on Eric Metcalf Day at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Metcalf with all 4 Browns touchdowns and a 28-13 lead. And meanwhile, the young 23-year-old redhead quarterback of the LA Raiders, Todd Marinovich, has tied a Raider record, and probably, in light of the circumstances, will break it. He has thrown 52 passes today to tie Jim Plunkett and Jay Schrader for most passes in a Raider game. So his next toss puts him already in the record book, erasing those 2 names. Not necessarily in any moment of glory, but of
yeah, the same set of rules apply now to Marinovich that applied to Schrader. You can have your great day, but you got to win. Different set of rules now for this team.
Here comes the record 53rd throw. Incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
Intended for Grady.
Intended for Sam Grady.
Second down, and for those of you in the East and Midwest, stay tuned after the game. This is our lineup tonight on NBC. Secret Service, Eyewitness Video, and our movie stars Kathy Ireland, Danger Island, a premiere movie. And of course, those of you on the West Coast, you'll see our primetime lineup at its regularly scheduled time. From the 21-yard line, 2nd and 10, a record-setting thrower, Todd Marinovich. And not looking for the ball, Ethan Horton. Well, last week we had a record, all-time NFL record, when Buffalo and San Francisco went through an entire game, neither team punting, and we come to Los Angeles, and someone had said, well, you know, Todd Marinovich is going to set a record. He's going to throw more passes than any Raider in history. More than the Mad Bomber, more than Blanda, more than Plunkett.
You know, speaking of San Francisco, I was looking in the San Francisco 49ers press guide. I think it's page 114. There's some mention here of Candlestick Park, Candlestick Point. That Candlestick Park was named for a bird.
Oh, it's right there in the press guide, is it?
Yeah. I wonder if everybody around the league gets one of those. Press guides.
Broken up by Vince Newsom, intended for Sam Grady.
Do they have pages?
Slingshot Snyderman pointing out here that most passes attempted in an NFL game, Blanda, when he was with Houston, threw it 68 times. So Marinovich isn't going to set an NFL mark, but into the mid-50s today. 31 for 55, 369 yards. But for Terry Rubisky, Steve Ortmeyer, staff of Art Shell,
they're bringing on the field goal kicker.
Well, they're going to have to get a field goal one way or the other.
I think Belichick just took a timeout. He's trying to call a timeout.
And it is called. Oh, it's going to be a fake. Gossett, it was going to be a fake field goal, and they tipped their hand because Gossett got up as if to throw. And he is you watch him in practice, he has an excellent arm, and actually could be a pretty good receiver too. Good hands despite what happened earlier in the game. Watch what Gossett does here. In fact, he's their emergency quarterback.
Yep. You caught him. And they call a timeout. That probably more than anything points to the kind of day the Los Angeles Raiders have had.
And it started when Gossett early in the game on a simple transfer from center to punter. Ball was right on the money, and for whatever reason Gossett let it go through his hands. Recovered by Cleveland. They went on to score their first touchdown. That was a 14-yard drive in 4 plays. Then later in the first quarter, another fumble, and Metcalf went 6 yards on a run. That drive was 9 yards in 2 plays. The Raiders came rallying back, a couple of field goals and a touchdown to make it 14-13. But on the way, Jaeger missed a short field goal of 30 yards. And then 2 long touchdown throws from Phil Cox to Eric Metcalf here in the second half. 69-63 yards to break it open.
Another penalty going to take place here against the Los Angeles Raiders.
Number 78 on the offense prior to the snap. 4th down after 5-yard penalty.
Skrepanak, the rookie from Michigan, getting some work in special teams and guilty of the 5. So now it becomes a 44-yard attempt. And it is good.
He hits it twice today. One doesn't go in, the other one does. Yes, sir. All right, there's a positive sign for next week.
Some pain on the ball as Jaeger hits from 44 yards, and it's 28-16. One of the great television shots.
It's amazing how many times that upright attracts the football. I mean, I don't understand it. I can't get a golf ball to attract to the stick like that.
Yeah, they're painted the wrong color, maybe.
Maybe. A brown golf ball wouldn't work, though. It just wouldn't work where I hit it.
Well, and for the Browns, who apparently, if they can last out 2 minutes and 11 seconds, will go home with their first win and look forward to the return of some of those. Not Webster Slaughter. Art Modell says he's now history as far as the Cleveland Browns are concerned. A holdout. He'll be playing somewhere else in the NFL, and Mr. Modell wishes him well. But Minifield, one of the top defensive linemen in all the league, Michael Dean Perry, Kevin Mack, the fullback, Bernie Kosar, they could all be back after the 4 weeks because the Browns also get their bye in the 5th week. So that gives them an extra week to heal for those on the injured list. So meantime, Todd, Phil Cox certainly has filled in admirably today.
You'd think he's enjoyed his first start in the NFL, as we're about to see, I believe, an onside kick by the Raiders.
Well, it would be certainly a shock if they don't try one. Yeah, they overload the left.
Hands team out there for the Browns.
And it's covered well by Stevan Moore. Back in the final, the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to San Diego, and they go home 3-0 with a 23-6 win. And they'll take on next week here on NBC in one of our late games, the Green Bay Packers. And the Packers rallied with a couple of late touchdowns in the 4th quarter to take the 3rd win away from Cincinnati today. So that will be an intriguing game. Pittsburgh at Green Bay.
Didn't I hear you say that Terrell Buckley, who had just signed, scored the winning touchdown, ran back a kick?
But he ran back a punt for a touchdown earlier to spark the Packers.
Well, that's the way the greatest athlete in the second half of the century should start his NFL career.
There's a room for another Dion, another primetime player. Cleveland has rushed 18 times for 31 yards, and don't figure to make much here because everyone in the Coliseum knows they're going to run. That tackle made by Howie Long takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Bill Belichick looks a lot better now than we saw him yesterday.
Mitsubishi believes that a luxury car should offer something beyond the usual luxuries. It may be extraordinary power and control, a consummate blend of comfort and performance, or a state-of-the-art four-wheel drive system. The 3000 GT, the Diamante, the Montero. Lease the luxury car of your choice. Only $399 a month for 36 months. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Welcome back. Bardell trying to stay in bounds and does. And apparently Howie Long did get a timeout at 2:03, even though the Coliseum clock ticked down. So Long's timeout, the last for the Raiders in this second half, spent. This then becomes the 2-minute timeout at the 1:56 mark. Cleveland Browns 28, the Raiders 16. Todd Philcox with 3 touchdown throws.
It's the Domino's Pizza NFL Spectacular. What are these guys into? Piling it on. And if you're into piling it on, get a Domino's medium with unlimited toppings now, just $8.99. And pile it on.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
I feel good. Yeah, this guy really gets around. He's got the auto lights. American Orient Paul, we're guaranteed 2 years no matter how far he goes. That's why we've been everywhere. Wow!
The Broncos. 3 times they reached the Super Bowl. 3 times at Cleveland's expense in the championship game. The Browns. Beware of these dogs. They're still smart. It's the miracle maker John Elway versus the Cleveland Browns from the Dog Pound. An NBC football doubleheader next Sunday.
The Browns' first-round draft choice. We made fun of him with buying donuts, but this is how you earn respect in the NFL. You hit a hitter, and it sounds like that, you leave a big impression. Tommy Bardell.
Boy, sometimes away from the ball in a simple no-gain play, Bardell, the rookie, taking on the 10-time Pro Bowler Ronnie Lott, known for the way he drives and strikes the opponent. And Bardell just saying, hey, just want to let everyone know I belong, huh?
I can do more than buy donuts.
Bardell is 6'2" and 238 pounds. So 4 rushes, 5 yards doesn't tell the total story. And you look back on the first quarter, the block he threw that was key in Metcalf's second touchdown.
Bavaro and Bardell. Huge blocks on that run by Metcalf.
Third down and about 14 as the Browns just trying to run out the clock now.
Number 26 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And that helps the Raiders stopping the clock. Ron Wolfley, who plays primarily as a special teamer and has been a 4-time Pro Bowler because of his excellence on special teams. 4 years with the Cardinals.
But that's not what you want to say about Ron Wolfley. Anybody who likes peanuts on a donut deserves to be a lifetime special teamer.
You know who else does? Our producer, John Ferrazzi.
Oh,
doesn't that figure?
Yes.
He's our special
perfect
teams
match
guy.
with the two. A perfect match.
John Gonzalez gets upset at director for heating sugar. Bardell to the 50, and now the clock will run, and the Raiders cannot stop it. But that was a third down play, and they'll have to punt it away. Along with Messrs. Ferrazzi and Gonzalez, our thanks to all the men and women that brought you the sounds and sights from Los Angeles today. Stan Ataki and Ron Lux, their help in the booth. Todd Marinovich, you'll be able to look back on this game and see some nice numbers, but as we have heard all week long, it's just win, baby. And the Raiders 0-3 for only the second time in 28 years.
This was their 6th regular season loss in a row dating back to last year.
Plus the playoffs, so that counts 7. Too when you're Al Davis. They let it run down to 105 to maximize their time.
On the offense.
They'll take the delay of game. The worst ever go way back the 62-64. That's pre Al Davis, really his influence. I'm sorry. We've got a telestrator that's activated by a finger, and I just happened to accidentally touch that. I thought it was rather nice, but
Dick,
I got a complaint from down below. 0-3 and 61, 86, and if they lose today.
Stay away from this thing. You know nothing about machinery.
You got that right. Boy. Fair catch called by Mervin Fernandez. He swerves under it at the 5.
Fair catch by Mervin Fernandez.
Doesn't look too experienced in that spot, does he?
Yeah, he caught it, and he's lost his starting job to Tim Brown, and he wanted to get a catch. Our executive producer Terry O'Neill, the aforementioned Ferrazzi and Gonzalez, coordinating producer and director Elsa Smansky, our AD. Thanks to our production associate, Ed Fibishoff, Steve McEwen, Chuck Bond, Mitch Geller, and all the crew here from Los Angeles. City of Angels, hardly that for the Raiders here in 92, 0-3. And of course, the other trouble just involved whether they'll even stay in this Coliseum, but that's another long continuing story. Almost picked off by the veteran corner Wilburn. Give everyone their fair due. Well, you know that I don't know how many people at home actually, read through the names. I'm one of those that sit after a movie and watch all the credits. I don't know the people, but I just figure that these are the workers. The other people who take all the credit and all the bows. Those are the ones who make it easy. We just deliver the baby. Marinovich. Andrew Glover, the tight end, didn't go out of bounds, stayed in bounds. Maybe he's tired of it too.
Choice. Very poor choice. You mentioned we deliver the baby. Boy, what a bouncing baby delivered to the Cleveland Browns today without Bernie Kosar.
At Cleveland, what great fans back there, and they should be proud. They could well be 2-1.
Yeah, they're in the streets in Cleveland.
And they allow the short pass to Galt. Another throw by Todd Marinovich, who's approaching 60 attempts. 58.
He may be too worn out to surf this afternoon after this game is done.
Trying to get one more away. Yep, this will be his 59th if he can get it off. And it's right to the Browns. And well, it should be. That's the way the game has gone. Right to the Browns. Vince Newsom with the interception. The final score, Cleveland 28, the Raiders 16. Eric Metcalf 4 touchdowns. Coming up, most of these stations, all new episodes of Secret Service and Eyewitness Video, followed by NBC world premiere movie Danger Island. Viewers on the West Coast see these shows at their regularly scheduled time. For Bob Trumpy, I'm Dick Enberg. So long from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. This has been the NBC sports coverage of the National Football League.
With 4,900 touchdowns a day around the world, it's no wonder Delta is the official airline of the NFL.
The preceding has been a presentation of NBC Sports.